Back, everyone. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is for video games, the top 10 video games of all time, according to me. Now, this might not be everyone's list. Let me get all that happy horse shit out of the way at the beginning. You might have a very different list. Some of these may basically lend more towards classic retro games, but there are a few other games popped on in here. But this is my list of my top 10. Well, okay, again, I'm gonna lie, because I can't do anything like a normal person. I can't just make a top 10 list. That's too organized or too efficient for me. I need to make a top 20 list. And with some bonus ones that aren't even in the top 20. So this actually is going to be the top 20 video games of all time, or video game franchises of all time. Top 10 just sounds a lot better. If you put top 20, it's like, can this guy get to the point? This is going to be top 20, but we're calling it top 10. If you tell anybody, it's top 10. The 10 are the only that count. I am doing a top 10, but I'm going to be including 10 other ones too. But I've always played video games. I played video games since the Atari 2600, or even before then with arcade games and stuff like that. And I've carried my way all the way through as a fan. I'd say there are games in the modern eras that I'm a huge fan of, but I'd say my heart of my video gaming lays in that Nintendo, Super Nintendo age, where most of my obsessive, crazy, insanity-driven gaming experiences happened. Where I would just basically lock myself into a room for 8 hours and just play a video game straight. Granted, I do that now too, and I've made this list really easy for me because in some cases, as I mentioned, I'll be doing franchises, and in some other cases, I'll be doing individual games. So there's no fucking rules to this. This is the outlaw level. This is the Thunderdome of video games. It doesn't matter. You guys are gonna have far different ones, and that's fine. I'd love to hear what your top 10, 5, 20, whatever video games of all time are. You can share it in the description box below if you're watching this later. Or if you're watching this live, you can even leave your voicemail in and I'll play it on the air at the end of the show at 781-990-8509. You can leave a message on that line whether you're listening to this live or listening to this on replay. Just leave the fucking message and we'll deal with it later. But I'm also not alone. I have with me some of the best, some of the beautiful, the wonderful, the live motherfucking chat. We got CJ Broke and Gary in with us right now. I'm sure we'll have some other friends popping on and off throughout the day. As I mentioned this before when I did my last weird thing like this, where I did my top, I don't even know what the hell was I talking about last time? No one really remembers and no one really cares. But I was talking about different things rather than television and movies, music. I was talking about Pink Floyd. So I want to start stretching out, spreading my side butthole wings, if you will, and start talking about some other things that really interest me. Video games are something I do talk about and play excessively, as I mentioned. We have a secondary channel called Dirty Issues that myself and Joe Dirty Locks do some video game streaming, and Taka pops in on there every once in a while as well. So we're really doing, gaming is a part of what we do here. And I've gone through some gaming stuff on the other channel while I was streaming, but never really officially. So it's about time to start bringing everything in, gather around, and let's talk some video games. Now, I'm slightly under the weather here, so if I seem a little less than poppy, I apologize. I'm playing injured here, but I cannot not come out here this week and talk more to you guys. So we're going to talk about this today, then hopefully I'll be back a couple more times this week. It's kind of a weird week for me, but here we go. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into this video game list. We have Omen, we have Nicholas, we have Broke, we have The Walking David, we have Gary. If Phil doesn't have Zelda on this list, something's wrong. It's Attack of the Body Snatchers if I don't. Can we play a game that we know the end of the game before we go any further in this situation? Pretty much everybody knows that's a fan of my channel. If you can look out the side, well, you can't see it behind me. But if people have ever watched this channel, we might be joined by a few new folks. And if you are, come on in. May seem weird at first with a lot of words like FOP, side butthole, go hug yourself, knife to the back of the head, all those kinds of things may seem, what the hell are these fucking freaks talking about? But no, come on in, the water's nice, dip your little toe, dip your butthole in there. People will help guide you through this wonderful situation that is this silly podcasting channel, this live streaming ridiculosity. So I'm going to start this by talking about more topics and more random stuff that I don't usually necessarily talk about on this channel. Namely, video games. And if people don't know and they've watched this channel long enough, I think, unfortunately, number one is probably already depicted. People already know what I'm going to say is number one. So that's okay. That's okay. We got a full other list of 19 other ones and then a bunch of bees. Bunch of bees? A bunch of bees. Killer bees? Wu-Tang Killer Bees on the Storm? No, bees. B-level ones. Alternates. I told you I can't talk today. I'm sick. Hey, what's up? Oh, we got Kyle in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see everybody just dropping in to say a like. Huge love to Azora Hype Kyle in the live chat right now. I hope there's a strategy game in your list, Phil. What's up, peeps? What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody. Yes! So let's not waste any more time of this happy horseshit Babelfest 97 crap that I'm doing. Let's get to the list so you guys can tell me how much I'm wrong. Because I know video games are another thing. Similar to what I was talking about with music earlier in last week on Friday about Pink Floyd, certain things, and I've mentioned this about comedy too, certain things are subjective to the experience you have. Joe, for instance, Joe Dirtylocks, who has very specific tastes in video games. It would have been interesting to have Joe here because his video game choices are way different than what mine would be necessarily. I hate role-playing games. I know, Joe hates role-playing games. Anything he has to watch too much of a story or anything like that, he has an immediate aversion to. Excuse me. He's more, gameplay would be more important to someone like him. Some people like different styles of games. Stephanie, for instance, I asked her about this list, and she said, I wouldn't pick any of these ones on your list. Where the fuck is DuckTales? So, sorry, DuckTales isn't on my list, or Mega Man or something like that, which I don't have on my list, or on my alternates list. So everybody has different games. A lot of people might say the game Symphony of the Night is the greatest game of all time. A lot of people, oh, my camera's falling down, ah! Everyone, depending on their experiences, have many different kinds of video games. And it's not something that can really be quantified in a way to say this is the best game of all time, unless you're talking about one game specifically. But no, even in that, it's never quite as clear as it possibly could be. A gaming experience is very different for every fucking possible person that ever plays a game. The pinnacle of all gaming could be Pong to somebody. So this is why more than fucking camera. This is why more than any other one of our streams that we've ever possibly have done. You motherfucker! You motherfucking son of a fucking camera. You better stay up there. There's where people were asking for my Boston accent a couple of times. There's where my Boston accent comes out when I'm angry. You better fucking stay up there, dude. Because if you don't, we're going to have some fucking problems, okay? Motherfucker. Duck on DuckTales. Woohoo. Brooke says role-playing games aren't my own thing. Metroid we have in the live motherfucking chat. Let's pull up the chat here and see what a couple people are saying at this point right now. Hope there's strategy games on this list. What's up, Phil? RPGs aren't my thing, says Broke. But you do like Square Enix's games. You like a game like Kingdom Hearts, which has RPG elements to it, even though it's more of an adventure game. Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Metroid, I'm old. Trust me, Hog. This is gonna be a very older list of just to give a little bit of a preview here on this sense that it's more older games than new games. In fact, it's the majority of this 20 list are older type games. My stealth game favorite is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Double Dragon Spy Hunter. So I'm excited to have all of you guys here so you guys can share your picks for games all throughout the day. Now, please keep spamming the chat room what your favorite video games are. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're listening to this later, pop on in the comment section. I'd love to hear your list because it's going to be very different. Like I said, most of my list probably aren't games that have been out in the last 5 years, or even in some cases, many that are out in the last 10. Most of mine are from very specific era, because those are what mean the most to me in my kinesthetic memory of video games, of playing them, and what I emotionally felt in the moment I was playing these video games has a lot to do with why they are my favorite, why I think they are the best. It's not necessarily, well, Across the Edges, the most perfect video game ever made is this game right here because of the depth of story. I mean, I'm going to have my reasoning why some of these games are on this list, but there's no fucking bullshit here. We got Craig. Thank you, Craig, who gives us our first Super Chat donation of the day. I turned on to camera falling down, thought you were having an earthquake. What's up, Phil? Original Splinter Cell. Fucking awesome. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Mega Man is the shit. Let's spin this wheel for our good buddy Craig, who keeps me moving and going. Craig, you and your incredible Super Chat donations mean so much to me that it lands on Phil Drink. And how the fuck do you motherfuckers? I love you guys in the Super Chat donations. I really do. I'm half kidding about this. It's 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I'm gonna have to take a shot of something. What am I, Don fucking Draper? Fuck. Thank you, Craig. You're the best, buddy. Original Tomb Raider, that was on Stephanie's list. Now, Street Fighter. Now, Analysis. You're naming Ocarina and all that stuff. I will say this, that certain game franchises that are on this list that I'm going to be talking about, instead of having this list be clogged, this is why I decided to do this. Some cases, I'm talking about individual games. In some cases, I'm talking about franchises. In the franchises that I have, I'm going to talk about what my favorite of the franchises are. The reason I'm doing this is because of potentially what could be my number one. The top 10 could maybe be all that number one, or mixed with like my number 1 and my number 5, or my number 4, or something like that. They could all just be the same kind of game. So theoretically, let's say this isn't on my top list, but let's say Mega Man was, and I would say the Mega Man franchise. Then potentially later, I will do an episode like this that is just Mega Man top 5 games, or something like that. Because it's too hard it would be too much of a cheat almost to just list all of my favorite games. Because I would say, in some ways, my top 3 or 4 favorite games are all from the same franchise. And this list is already going to be, sorry, Nintendo-centric. This list is already going to be, let me take you back to the past to show you the awesome games that still last. It's going to be past games. So to even focus it more on a tunnel vision of, say, one game series, I think is a bad place to start. So here I'm going to be talking about some games in a more of a franchise window, but I will be addressing what my favorite or favorite 1 or 2 of the games of the franchise is, and possibly we might have more deeply expansive reviews where we get into, favorite role-playing games, favorite Mega Man series game, favorite, Nintendo game even, or something like that. So I'm just trying to get away all the rules of this particular thing before we can get the, Phil, fuck you and your stupid list. So before we get to that, let's get through all that sort of shit. So remember, Kung Fu. My YouTube keeps fucking you, Uncle Phil. Why aren't they telling you? Silly fucking bastards. Make sure, I just want to say something else too about, I've heard a lot more people say things like they're not getting notifications when I go live. And I know you probably already have done this and there's no rhyme or reason to it, but if you haven't and you're subscribed to my channel, please go to my channel itself and click that little bell thing so you get a notification, or apparently get a notification whenever we go live. Theoretically, we have about 10,000 subscribers on the channel. I would wish that they'd send a fucking email to all 10,000 people subscribed to tell us we're going live right now, but I don't think they do that. So please, if you watch this later and you're like, oh fuck, I love Phil, but I never know when he goes live or some shit like that, try to make sure you click that little bell on my page for the notifications. And also, I'm never going to tell someone to do this. Unsubscribe and subscribe again. That's scary to tell people to do that. But sometimes I think when it's a new subscription, they alert you quicker or something. I'm not telling you guys to all unsubscribe and magically subscribe right now, but that might work. And I hope that if you choose to unsubscribe, you'll come right back. See, I feel like Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street. Now, would you please leave my channel now? All unsubscribe at once and subscribe again. But no, I've gotten a lot of emails lately from people that tell me that they don't get alerted when we go live. So those are a couple of maybe tricks to figure it out, or send angry letters to YouTube. Let us know when Phil goes live, assholes. So, or hit the reminders. I do try to put at least an hour or a little while before the event starts. If at any point in time you see that an event has been created and you want to make sure you check it out, also click on reminders. Those tend to work. No, it's open, Phil. Stop saying this. Has anyone said Game of Thrones? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or does that not count? Oh, counts. Anything counts. Anything fucking counts. No, it's too open. Stop saying that. I'm a master at Mario Kart of the Wii, says Lady Brady. I don't think anyone's mentioned Skyrim yet. I would say Skyrim. I would say Morrowind. I would say the whole Elder Scrolls series belong in some sort of mention on this list and in this situation. Nintendo. Hey, everybody. Star Fox 64 is the best. I have to go through and set reminders on every video. Turbo for the ColecoVision. Lots of great lists, and keep them up in the live motherfucking chat. So let's not waste... Oh, shit. My computer wants to restart. We'll restart in 10 minutes. No, not 10 minutes. 4 hours, asshole. Postpone. Postpone, motherfucker. Postpone. So the first one we have on our list. Let's start. Let's not waste any more time, and let's get into number 20 on my list. And remember, I do have some honorable mentions that I'll be talking about at the end afterwards when we get into it. Or should I get rid of my No, we'll wait on the honorable mentions. That way, maybe just to add a little bit of mystery, so to speak. Ooh, Paper Mario, Super Mario The Lost Letters, great stuff. Super Mario World. Ooh, all awesome picks, and people see the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure that that little plumber is going to make an appearance sometime on this list. So, number 20 on my list is this. It is the Pokemon series. Now, I know what some people might be thinking, oh, the Pokemon, what are we in 1994? What do we got to catch them all? No, fuck the cartoon. The cartoon can go fuck itself in its balls, okay? I don't mind some of the first season stuff leading up to the point when Brock left for the first time, but ultimately, Pokemon for me isn't about the cards, it isn't about collecting them all, it's about the RPG game elements of the Pokemon games from a handheld standpoint. And I'm talking about the whole series, from Red and Blue to X and Y to Stigma, Alpha, G, apostrophe T, Sun, Moon, Eat My Asshole, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they keep remaking the same game. Yeah, they keep doing all this shit, but Pokemon Stadium, all that sort of shit, the way it all came together at a point in time, playing it on the Game Boy, raising up my little Pokemon, putting them into Pokemon Stadium, battling my friends, all that sort of shit, just from a simple video game standpoint. You start the game, you pick one of your 3 fucking stupid monsters, you pick a monster, you go around collecting other monsters, and have to beat the Great 8, or the Grape Ape, or the Sexy 7, or the fucked up foursome, whatever fucking game it is, and whatever fucking thing you gotta do. You gotta go, beat your rival. It's the same things from point to point in all one of these games, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. It's fun every fucking time. Every couple of years, I'll play a new Pokemon game, and I am reinvigorated into the series. I'm not obsessed with it like some people are. My Stephanie is really obsessed by Pokemon. She needs to get every single game that comes out, is way into it, loved the cartoon, collects the cards, all that sort of stuff. Me, I love certain individual ones. I love me some ghost Pokemon. I love me some psychic Pokemon. I love Charizard. I love all the original, like, Generation 1 Pokemon. There's a couple of newer Generation 1s I don't mind, but really those first generations, the games like Blue and Red, and what they all meant for video game history. Pokemon video games are huge. Now, like I said, a lot of people want to maybe focus on the cartoon or say, oh, that's kind of silly, you're picking the but no, these games are solid as fuck. They are the selling point of this franchise for me. I don't give a shit about anything else. If it was just a simple RPG, scroll down, look over the top kind of video game where you went around collecting things in the same way as a Phantasy Star, Final Fantasy kind of vibe to it, this to me is one of my favorites of these type of games. Is it a little on the easier side? Yes. Is it a little bit on the cheesier side? Fuck yeah. Is it good? Fuck yeah. It's a giant game of rock, paper, scissors sometimes, but I don't care. Gotta say, number 20 on my list is the Pokemon games. Fucking fun as fuck. Fun as fuck. And let's go into the live motherfucking chat. Pokemon Red Blue rule. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. Oh, come on, Phil. With the Pokemon. Oh my god. Castle Wolfenstein, Miss PacMan, Pokemon Red and Blue rule. I thought top 10. Top 20. I'm gonna do a top 10, but I'm stretching this out a little longer and doing a top 20 just because I made the list, so I might as well say what my 20 are to lead up to this top 10. I'll probably spend a little bit more attention on the top 10. Never completed a Pokemon game and grew up in that era. The new Assassin's Creed looks insane. Fuck you, Phil. The original TV show is awesome. Eat my asshole sounds controversial. You can do it, broke. You can do it. You're the best. The original Resident Evil, Nemesis Resident Evil, great stuff. Pokemon Yellow, I played the shit out of Tetris on the first Game Boy. Halo 3, Tetris, yes. Tetris, fucking amazing. Doc Mario, Civ 2, very cheesy. Red Blue, Master Chief, Halo 3, the best campaign ever. I ran into an enemy and had a weak-ass Pokemon. Holy fucking shit. And I know Pokemon's not for everybody. Some people it can stem from the people that are into it understand how deep these games can go. Especially when you get into the later games like X and Y, where you can battle people online and truly kind of raise and go and have access to so many fucking different creatures that you can collect, like all 500 or shit of them that exist. The game is a money suck. The franchise is a money suck. They release two of the same. They don't just remake the same game. They make two of the same game every fucking time, and it still sells. So I know this might not be a popular choice here, sitting there at 20 above a lot of other video game franchises, but I can't help myself. It's one of my favorites, and can't say enough good things about the Pokemon game series. So let's get to number 19 on this, and this is going to be another weird one for some people that have probably never even heard of this fucking game. Some people might have never even heard of this particular arcade game. And I am going to pick, for number 19 on my list, one of the most important games to me when I was a kid. I fucking love this game so much. That is Jungle Hunt. Now, Jungle Hunt, as a kid, playing this arcade game was one of the most impressive games I've ever seen in my life. I know you're looking at it now like, what the shit are you talking about? Impressive? It was so impressive to watch this game, to play this game as a kid. And it was like, sometimes you wondered if you could ever get past this point to get to the 3 sections of the game. The game wasn't just this. You went from that to an underwater section, and the game seemed so huge when you were playing it. And had such an effect on me for adventure games and what I wanted to play for a video game. I thought about putting Pitfall here as well, which is another game very similar to this that I had similar kind of reaction to. The first ever kind of adventure games. And I'm not talking about story-based adventure games. I'm talking about just action-based adventure games that you played in the arcade. This and Pitfall were exceptionally important to me. And I always was even though Pitfall got a little bit more attention publicly and is historically remembered a little bit more, this game was always more my favorite because of the change up of the way you played. Similar to Spy Hunter in that sense, where it wasn't just the one mode. So many people just knew the flying from rope to rope mode because they never really made it past that mode. But you went from this to the underwater mode to this third mode, which is, I believe, you like having to jump over little pieces of rolling shit and stuff like that to save the princess. I don't know. Something about this game I always loved, and it will never get old for me. Jungle Hunt, number 19 on that list. One of my favorite all-time arcade games. So, Play the games, lady. Pokemon, great first choice, Phil. The lore and story of the new Wolfenstein is what makes it great. Its world is cray. Plus, who doesn't want to kill Nazis? Far Cry. Oh, I love the old Wolfenstein games, and I heard the new one. I've heard lots of really great stuff about the new ones. Contra was great. Super C, not so much. Halo 3 was the best campaign mode. PacMan. I can't really play games anymore unless because my hand goes numb about 30 minutes into playing regular controllers. Completely understand that breaststroke, though. I dropped money on this crap. Yeah, I left my Game Boy out in the rain. It still worked. Yeah, fuck it. That thing can get blown up with a bomb blast. Okay, I remember throwing mine into my pool outside, and it worked when I dried it out the next year. I mean, that's the great thing about old school Nintendo systems. They could be through. You could fucking flush those things down the toilet. They're still gonna work. Pitfall was so addicted as a kid when I was so obsessed. Me too. And I mean, both these games were significantly big addiction points for me as a child. So I just chose to pick Jungle Hunt because I was a little bit more partial to it growing up. Although I will say that Pitfall's probably aged better and is remembered higher. So let's continue down here. Michael Phelps in the early days, definitely Pitfalls. There's an extension you can get for your controller that will help with that for carpal tunnel syndrome. Pitfall was so addictive. Michael Phelps in the early days. So let's keep going with this one and a couple more. I'm going to be talking about a few more arcade games. Original arcade. Now, sorry, I can't type in. I can't type and talk at the same time. I don't have the power. So number 18 on my list is another arcade game, and this was one of the first arcade games I got obsessed with. In fact, I used to go to Disney World with my parents, and I would skip going out to the park or skip doing things just to sit in the video game room and play this game. I would say, "Can I just stay and play this game?" Because I was so fucking obsessed with this video game. It's the first real flying shooter game. It deals with vector graphics, but had voices in it. And the way this game, the first time you hear the voice say, "Use the Force, Luke," in your head, it is so incredible. Maybe it's aged. I don't give a fuck. Star Wars, the original arcade game. Holy fucking shit, this game. Okay, you can look at this and go, "Yeah, okay, Phil, whatever. Silliness. This was silly." This game meant so much to me as a kid, meant so much. I wasted so many hours of quarters and times on vacations at amusement parks when we went there on field trips, went to water parks. I was in the arcade room playing this. This or Arch Rivals, which isn't on my list, but another great game, Arch Rivals, for the arcade. This Star Wars game was so incredible as a child playing this because up until this point, all I'd really seen was like Pong or Pac-Man or something. And you see this completely 3D world. Yeah, the vector stuff looks dated now, but at the time you saw this for the very first time, holy fuck burgers. This was a lot of fucking amazingness. And this game set the standard for so many other games to come. All first-person shooters, essentially, too. You could say it could come from this just by watching it again. It's such an incredibly influential game. I love this fucking game so much. Mortal Kombat Classic, Grand Theft Auto, amazing. Star Wars Arcade, that was my childhood right there. Totally my childhood right here. This was exactly what my childhood was all about, playing this video game. It's hard to imagine. And a lot of these arcade games, that's why a lot of these early ones on this list to me, and why I wanted to make sure I did the top 20, because the top 10 has less arcade games, I'll be honest. Whereas this early part of my list, I do want to actually pay attention to this era of gaming that really got me into games. You know, if it wasn't for this arcade era, I wouldn't have been so obsessed. I wouldn't have begged my mother for 2600 to bring home, and which really started me down that road. And I never got a 2600. I got one of those knockoff 2600s that a cousin of mine had because he had 3 of them or something. So they just, my cousin Michael Smith, that's a real name. He was like the first guy to have a VCR. He was the first guy to have video game systems. And he bought two Ataris. And my mother was like, "Give me one of your Ataris." So he gave me one of the Ataris, Superman the video game, and Miss Pac-Man and Super Breakout. So, cannot say enough amazing things about this game. Now, next on this list is number 17. Now, this is the first one that I'm going to... This is the first one that I need to say is not necessarily... Yep, here we go. is not necessarily just the first game. Now, number 17 on my list is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game series. Because I cannot just say this game. We had, what was the second game? The Manhattan Project, I believe it was called, or something like that. Maybe I'm thinking the Super Nintendo version of it, but then you had Turtles in Time, the arcade box of that. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, is one of those games that still gets played so much today. You go to any modern day arcade, it's one of those games that's there with the Simpsons game, with a lot of those other beat-em-ups. Thought about so many of the other beat-em-ups I wanted to put on this list. Some part of me thought about putting Double Dragon on, because Double Dragon's the first one I played. The X-Men arcade game, the beat-em-up X-Men arcade game. Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, the Simpsons game. I think there's also a D&D one, I believe, where you can be like a wizard or a Valkyrie or whatever, all this sort of shit. Whatever. Everyone, Streets of Rage, everyone has their beat 'em up that they love the most, right? And their arcade beat 'em up that they love the most. These were what a generation of arcade play was about. It was about this team play of getting 4 people together. People sometimes you didn't have any clue who they were, and all picking random turtles, and you're pissed off because you get stuck with Raphael or something like that, or you get stuck with Leo or shit because Mikey and Donnie were the most popular, especially Donnie. Or with the Simpsons one, you get stuck with Homer or whoever your hated character is. Everyone has played, every video game fan has played these kind of games, and they mean a lot to a lot of people. There was a whole era of the Super Nintendo Genesis era games that part of the beauty of those home console systems were the games that people could play, these beat-em-up games like Spider-Man versus Venom, the Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, and the pre-mentioned all these other beat 'em up games that were re-released. There's so many other X-Men ones, Superman, Batman ones. Beat 'em up games were the thing for a while. And I think a big part of that, all of that, is the popularity of this game and of the Simpsons game. So, I mean, I could pick a lot of games here, but this really is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with a caveat: most beat-em-up games of the arcade era of the time. This game was so much fun. The home console version did not do this justice. I hated when I got the Nintendo version of this, and you could only use 2 characters at a time, and the graphics look shitty and shit. This arcade game, one of the finest games of all time, and hugely influential on so many games to come, and one of the things that keeps the Turtles so much in the mainstream that they were is this video game. This is as much as important to the Turtles' history as the cartoons are, as the movies are, and as the comics are. This video game is what symbolizes the Ninja Turtles to some people. Great fucking game. Go Ninja, motherfucking go. So yes, that is this game. So should I get through another arcade game? And there's not much to say about this next one, guys. This next one, some people might be like, you're really putting this on this list? Yes, I am. I'm putting PacMan. And arcade Mrs. PacMan. Now, some people might go, PacMan? Really, Phil? Really? Of every video game in the history of time, nothing has taken more of my money than PacMan. The sit down, I used to have a bar I hung out with when I first turned 21, and they had one of those PacMan sit down machines, which is my favorite way to play PacMan ever. And it just was so incredible to just sit down, have a couple drinks, and play on one of those coffee tables. If I could buy any kind of video game for myself one day, it would be a Miss Pac-Man or a Pac-Man. I know this wasn't made by the real people, but I always liked Miss Pac-Man a little bit better just because of the additional boards and stuff. Even though I know it's sort of like a remake made by a different company that eventually was just bought, but it's fucking Pac-Man. It's the same thing. I also have a little bit of a side story with Pac-Man. As a very young child, my mother and my family, we weren't necessarily always on the right side of the law. And in the 80s, there's a lot of gambling going on in certain areas around where I lived, like real, almost like prohibition style gambling. And a lot of it was based around these video poker machines. Why am I talking about this? Because a lot of clubs in a lot of places in the area around where I lived would have these clubs that were filled with video games. Because video games were big in the 80s and they became a very popular thing. So these places were filled with video games. And at night, a button would push, something would switch in the video games, and these Pac-Man games or Miss Pac-Man games would magically turn into video poker machines. So a lot of my childhood is based around hanging out in some of these dirty, scummy clubs as a child and looking at these Miss Pac-Man machines that at night would turn into these poker machines. And I know that has nothing to do with why Miss Pac-Man or why Pac-Man should be on this list. I think video game obsession came from Pac-Man. This game was in my approximation, maybe I'm not sure the order of which the games came out, but I know for my interest, Pac-Man was the first game I was obsessed by, whether it be the arcade version that I played or the watered down 2600 version of the game. I could never get enough playing Pac-Man. The simplicity of the game design just is incredibly well done, and sometimes simplicity is the best. At the time when everyone was trying to figure out different concepts of video games within the graphical limitations that they had, I think no one did it better than Pac-Man. It's so simple. It's a simple little maze with dots. You have to, there's not much to it, but I think addictive, obsessing gaming came from Pac-Man. And also character-based gaming came from Pac-Man. Yes, Mario was in Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong was a character, but Donkey Kong was the villain. Pac-Man became someone you knew, and then you knew the whole Pac family. There was the early Pac-Man cartoons. You had the Pac-Man, Baby Pac-Man, the arcade game that was a combination of a pinball game and a video game. Then you had Super Pac-Man. You had all this Pac shit. The Pac franchise killed it. So I have to give Pac-Man the great respect that it deserves in this list. So Pac-Man definitely deserves to be there. So, are we ready to get out of the arcade age? Are we ready to give a moderately modern era game here? A modern era franchise? Is it about time? Is it about time for this shit? It's about time to get out of the fucking past and talk about a game that wasn't in fucking 1947. That's true. Sorry, got some technical difficulties here for a second. So let's get to one of my favorite video game franchises of all time, and that is people already saw that, so it's not like I'm holding off on this answer here. Not holding off on the answer. Everyone knows what it is. That is a fact. The Mass Effect games. Now, the Mass Effect series is probably the reason why it's so high on my list. Is I'm not a fan of shooters at all. Like, I hate shooters. I like role-playing games, I really do, but Mass Effect, it didn't matter. BioWare created this incredibly deep universe. They had done something early with a game that I may, in fact, talk about later, and developed a game that I loved more than anything else. Then we got into this. I was very dubious, not very much looking forward to playing a Mass Effect game at all. But then, being a sci-fi nerd that I am, I was completely engulfed by this world. And I feel like there are some elements in all three Mass Effect games, I know there's another one, but I'm talking about the first three, that bother me. You know, some missions when you're driving with the moon rover or something like that, where I'm like, oh, fuck, and I really have to do this. Some grinding stuff. Some ways that each game changed that maybe I think 2 was the pinnacle of the series. But I think BioWare creates such a rich universe here, and I think since then they've had some great moments and great games that have come from there, but I find BioWare games in recent years a little on the glitchy side, but this is, I think, their prime. And they had such a great force of dot and T's crossing I's for these games. They're such a rich world, and I don't care that they're based around as a shooter game, and where I'm someone that likes RPG, and I was kind of wishing that it felt more like KOTOR, and it doesn't feel like KOTOR. It feels like something completely different, and I feel like when you create a universe like this, it's the hardest thing to do, and in a modern way, BioWare created one of my favorite sci-fi universes in this Mass Effect universe, and I think these games are properly rated in the way that the people that love them they're always very high on people's lists of favorite video game franchises. So I cannot say enough great things about, at number 15 on my list, the Mass Effect series. One of the best modern era video game series of all time because of the consistency, because of the world making sense and the world feeling like a real world, not feeling like you're taking a dip in someone else's pond. I really felt engulfed by this universe. It says Mass Effect was great RPG. Mass Effect 2 was a great action shooter. Is Mass Effect an RPG game? It has RPG elements mixed with shooter elements. it's no one genre of a game. And I think that's another element that makes it wonderful. What is up, everybody? Great to see you. Sci-Fi Heaven says Ident. Never played Mass Effects. Craig says hate Mass Effect. Can I take back my donation now? I know I hear you. It's not going to be for everybody, but I really did love the Mass Effect series. Mario did it first because Mario did it shows the same time or before PacMan did. Okay. So I like watching them, but I don't play. And so yeah, absolutely. Mass Effect games. Love all the characters in it. Love the world. Great world building. A lot of excitement. A lot of fun. Mass Effect, number 15 on my list. So, let's get back to... Oh, there I am. Now, this next one... this next one that I'm about to jump on this list here. Now, this is not the game necessarily I'm showing you. I mean this entire franchise. Now... everything I said about PacMan earlier, I think can also be said about the game series I'm about to talk about. And I think it was one of the very first to create character. And it is higher on this list than PacMan, notice. Because it created two iconic video game heroes. Yes, in the beginning he was called Jumpman. Yes, at the beginning he was just kind of a ripoff of King Kong. But to this point, no one has created more love in my heart. No video game character do I want to hug more than this guy, this hero, this wonderful, amazing person, this incredible dude with the tie. That's right, everybody. I'm talking about my favorite monkey and yours, the Donkey Kong series. And I'm talking about every Donkey Kong game. That's right. Yeah, I'm showing Donkey Kong 64 because I love Donkey Kong 64. But Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong 3, Donkey Kong fucking countries. Holy shit. The Donkey Kong country games that continued into the Wii era and the Wii U era with the Tropical Freeze series. And of course, made by Rare, Donkey Kong 64, which is one of a lot of people's very warm memories about this game. Donkey Kong as an arcade game was unlike anything in the sense that it was another game that just ate up my money and introduced an interesting strategy of characters, interesting strategy of gameplay where you had to climb up to a mountain, jump over some blocks, and eventually get up to save the princess and knock Donkey Kong down. You know Donkey Kong. Watch The King of Kong if you haven't already. Great game series that adds a lot of dynamic arcade elements and actually had a goal that was attainable in a lot of ways. I was just sorry, Popeye just flashed into my head. The Popeye video game as well popped in my head. But Donkey Kong eventually just became a good guy, essentially, and I think the Donkey Kong Countries games were the games that transitioned him and created Diddy Kong and all those people. But this game created so much personality to the Kong family. And then Donkey Kong included in Smash Brothers, included now in a lot of the Mario Kart games. Donkey Kong is an iconic Nintendo character. And the games have been exceptional and have so much influence on the video games world we live in today. The arcade cabinet is one of the most successful arcade cabinets. It's a good start for Nintendo. Is what Nintendo kind of started the game with, besides like games like Punch-Out and stuff. You know, games like Punch-Out in Donkey Kong were what really founded Nintendo's video game franchise. If it wasn't for Donkey Kong, you wouldn't have Mario, you wouldn't have Zelda, you wouldn't have Metroid, you wouldn't have any of these individual characters that matter for Nintendo. It all started with DK. So DK doesn't quite crack the top 10 for me, but I cannot not give him his just dessert, banana cream pie, and put him in the number 14 spot. Love fucking DK. Donkey Kong is King Kong. They were looking for a name. There's a couple of wonderful documentaries about Donkey Kong. You can watch that. They were looking for a name for the particular character, and they specifically wanted to call him Donkey Kong after King Kong. And there's a reason for the donkey thing, too. I'm blanking on what it was, but the name specifically came from two different spots. And they are straight up about borrowing it from King Kong. They're like, fuck yeah, of course we did. It's a fucking giant monkey. What do you think? Steals a princess. What do you think we did? Of course we copied it from fucking King Kong. Are there any Sega games on this list? Are there any Sega games on this list? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. There's definitely a few Sega games on my B list. And I will be talking about Shining Force later at some point in time. So I think there's probably maybe one or two Sega games here, but I will be honest that most of these are Nintendo centric. So back in the 80s there was a Donkey Kong cartoon on Saturday mornings. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple shells, grape melons, orange, coconut shells. Donkey Kong Jr. Resident Evil is definitely high on this list, I have a sneaky feeling. Witcher 3, Earthbound is greatest role player of all time. Greatest of all time! So let's get to number 13. And number 13 is, as people can see me typing it in for the arcade. Now, this is another arcade game, and people can say, go fuck yourself, Phil, on this one, but this game was so fucking amazing to me as a child, and a game I played probably more than almost any other game as a kid. It was called Food Fight. Now, you pick up food, and you have these chefs chasing after you, and you have to fucking shoot all the chefs in the face with fucking bananas and stuff. Now, seems a very simple game. This game got extremely hard, extremely fast, and this game does not get enough credit in the history of old school video games. It's just one of those forgotten about games. That's just one of my favorite, and I think one of the best video games. It's so much fun, and your goal is to get to the ice cream cone. And this is where the strategy comes in this game. You have to get as many points as you can by killing all these chefs and knocking them off the screen. And then you have to get to the ice cream cone before it melts. So you have to judge how much time you want to spend while you're kicking these guys' asses before you get to the ice cream cone. I know some people, this doesn't seem fun, but at the time I was playing this game, I logged probably more hours on my 7800 with this than I have with almost any other game. Love fucking Food Fight, and it's one of those games that maybe doesn't age too well if you played it now, but if you're partial to old school arcade games and you're ever in one of those places like a Fun Time in New Hampshire or any place that has old school arcade games, it's something worth popping on a quarter in and playing it because it can be a lot of fun. And similar to maybe a game like Tapper or something like that too. Games that you should play, and they're tons of fun. So let's get to number 12 on this list, because this one is, fuck yeah, guys. If you can see it. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. Number 12 on this list is a sports game, and it's an incredible sports game. The thing that made me a football fan. Not just made me a football fan, made me a Raider fan. Because of this reason right here, Bo fucking Jackson. Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl. I can't not have it on this list. It was so much of an important part of why I play sports, why I play video games. I used to play this game with my friends. We used to we hooked up the Nintendo through the VCR, and we would videotape our sports games, and then I would record commentary to it with a Fisher-Price tape recorder to it, and then we listen back to the commentary of me commentating these football games. And Bo goes to the left, he goes to the right. He's like a crazed man with his head cut off. He's running around in circles. You can't cut Bo Jackson. It is here, see? Oh, whoops, whoop, 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 whoop. Touchdown. And that was also at the very beginnings. And I know ESPN's a piece of shit right now, but back at the very beginning when ESPN came out and Chris Berman was out and he was like the funniest thing in the world, going, man, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, and all that sort of shit for the very first time you're hearing it. So we were way into this. Tecmo Bowl, I think, if it wasn't for the successes of Tecmo Bowl and maybe some other games I'm going to be talking about later, I don't think you would have the explosion of the Maddens of the world and stuff like that. I think Tecmo Bowl is the prototypical sports game. It took it, and I know there's games before this, First and 10, if we go into football, Home Run for baseball on the Atari, Double Dribble, shit like that, Ice Hockey, Blades of Steel. Tecmo Bowl, to me, holds up more than any of those games, and is a game I still play today. Is a game that, Tecmo Bowl and its sequel, Tecmo Super Bowl, that there are people right now that you can get every year. You can download it. I have a friend that I used to go to college with that this was part of his job. He interned at a company that what they do every year is remake Tecmo Bowl with modern day rosters. You can download it every year. It's still just as popular for the people that love the game. And so Tecmo Bowl, number 12, very proud to have Tecmo Bowl on this list. Joe Montana football, Blades of Steel, homie. I said Blades of Steel. Great fucking game. Awesome. When my best friends played, I was never allowed to take the Raiders. Bo Jackson, unstoppable. Tecmo Bowl, super. And I think Super Tecmo Bowl on the SNES is a great game. I think Tecmo Bowl and all of its sequels, because some people might be partial to the sequels that have the full rosters, have players being able to get hurt and stuff like that, and go through all of that. And also, but what I like about the original Tecmo Bowl compared to the newer ones is the play field is bigger. In the newer Tecmo Bowl, because they put all the players, that it's zoomed out a little bit, whereas the original Tecmo Bowl is just zoomed in. That's why I think I'm a little bit partial to the gameplay of the original one, even though I do like the extra plays. I like the extra teams. I like all of that. I made this list. I've made this list probably, this took me a couple weeks on and off making this list because I kept switching things. So I spent a good amount of time on this list. I'm not necessarily research what I'm going to say about each game. I'm kind of going on feel and memory of them and stuff. But thinking about it and putting the list together probably took me a couple weeks because I shifted and I moved things. There were certain times where other games were in there and other games were out there. Because to talk about Genesis, I was a huge Genesis fan in Sega. And I think those Sega sports games deserve mention, but it's hard to talk about them without referencing the newer games because that's when they started. And I think the Madden games are great now for what they are, and they make the same games every year, and that's fine. I was talking about Pokemon, who makes the same games every year. If you like it, you like it. I say I buy a Madden game every 5 years to play it. But to me, the NBA Live, Lakers versus the Celtics of the Sega era, and the NBA Lives and Jams and all that sort of shit that happened in Showtimes of the Super Nintendo Genesis era were also some of the sports games I played more than anything with my friends. And they were incredibly well done and really helped transition the Tecmo Bowls into the sports era that we live now. And there's another game I'm going to be talking about later, sports-oriented, that did that as well from the early Nintendo age. And so I'll get into that later, but Tecmo is like the start of it all for me. It's so important, and I still play this. There's still friends of mine that come over, and we plug in Tecmo Bowl and we play it. And I cannot say enough great things about Tecmo Bowl. So for the last one outside my top 10 list, I'm just gonna say one thing: up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, because it's always better with two players. Select, start. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. I'm, of course, talking about Contra. Now, Contra's a game I played a lot as a kid. I think it's my favorite shooter game of all time. The first game. I do appreciate, for what it's worth, Super C and stuff, and Contra 2 and all that, but I think this game has something none of the other Contras have. The way so many games try to do this side-scrolling shooter thing on the Nintendo era, and so many games fail at it. They can't do it. I don't know what it is, but there's something about what they did with this game that made it so fucking incredible. I can't quite explain it, but Bo Jackson, unstoppable. Contra rules. I suck at making lists. I fucking shit. This year's Madden sucked. It was a big waste of money. Tecmo's so good, it isn't overcomplicated. I could never get that code to work. You gotta do it so fucking quick. Up, up, down, down, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. You need to do it before the screen gets in front. Let me rewind this because I want to say when you need to do it. You need to do it before Contra centers here. You need to type in the whole entire code before it goes there. The Konami code. But I think what Konami did with this game was make a shooter work. And again, I'm reiterating myself, but if you play more shooters like this in the Nintendo, you see how good Contra is. It seems like simple, okay? You let the gun go in all directions, you go to the side, you jump up, you jump down, whatever. It's simple. Jumps are easy. It's a platformer with shooting. But if people have played a lot of Nintendo games or watched a lot of the Angry Video Game Nerds reviews or watched any other bad video game reviews, it's not that simple in the Nintendo era. Control schemes suck for the most part, even up to the Genesis era, even up to now at times when you're playing video games and you're like, this is a great game, but the controls in this game suck. What made Contra so good isn't that it was the greatest, had the greatest levels or the greatest game designs of all time. It had some amazing ones. The 3D levels that we get in the alternate levels with the 3D boards were amazing watching as a kid, and you imagine the future of video gaming. But what made Contra so incredibly wonderful was how easy it was to play in the sense of to shoot anywhere you wanted. It was hard. I mean, you get killed nonstop. I don't mean easy as in the game was easy. It was not fucking easy. There's a reason why you need 30 lives for it to beat this fucking game. What I mean is you could shoot anywhere you wanted. You play a game like Terminator for the Nintendo. I'm trying to think of other ones, but there are hundreds of them. But Akari Warriors even, or something like that. It just doesn't shoot as well. It just doesn't feel as good. So there's just something about Contra. There's something about this first Contra that just hooked into some magic for me, and I can play this game a billion times. Another thing amazing about Contra, it has one of the best endings of a video game of this era, where you see the island explode in the background, then you get closing credits and stuff. So playing this, another game at the time that had really excellent closing credits was Trojan. And I would also say Super Mario Brothers 2 with the great big visual of Mario. So can't say enough amazing things about Contra. Fun game, still holds up. Play it with a friend. Hard as fuck, but fun to play. Hey Arthur, great to see you. Contra ruled. Super Contra was so hard. Super C was a lot of fun too. Phil's a talker. Where are we in the top 10? It's perfect timing, K-Rich. We're just about to get to the top 10. Back then, it was all side-scrolling games, but Contra really got it right. Craig, that's 100% true. Side-scrolling games were the biggest thing. You very rarely saw the 3D environment games. They existed, games like Space Harrier and the like, or some other 3D games of Super Nintendo and Genesis era, and even the original Nintendo had the certain eras, parts of Dark Towers and parts of Goonies had these 3D boards, Goonies 2. But this was all about side-scrolling and stuff, and this game really fucking worked. So now that we've gone over our 20 to 10, let's get into the real gist of this list here. And apologize to anyone who's tuning in that's like, okay, Phil, I tuned in for a top 10 list, and you just did 20. I don't give two flying fucks about that. Can you get to your top fucking 10? So here we go.
Sword and shield. It's a stolen horse, it's real. It's Groundhog Day on a 3-day course. Final man starts to strafe. Keep this weapon. If you wanna be safe, run around like a stick in the mud. In the fairy rains, in the mouths of floods. It's funny how evil can push.
Okay, here we go. Top 10, baby. Now, number 10 on my list is a game I've seen a couple people mention in the live chat. It's probably another one of these games I just keep playing over and over again. One of the best Nintendo games of all fucking time. Took a franchise that Nintendo had in the arcade for years and made it even better. As much as I like the Punch-Out, I just spoiled it. As much as I like the Punch-Out video games in the arcade, which I really do, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out works in another way. It works because Mike Tyson was the most popular thing in the world at the time, so you put Tyson in a video game, it works incredibly. It works because the boss at the end of this game is so incredibly hard that it becomes almost a mythical kind of thing when you had someone that could beat Tyson, that you'd go over their house in the middle of the day, right after school, just to see that one person that says they can beat Tyson. It was so awesome because these codes are almost as iconic as the Contra code, where 007-373-5963 to get to Tyson. If anyone wants to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out right now and get to Mike Tyson, you can enter that code, guys. 007-373-5963. And I'm not saying that because I'm reading it. I'm saying it because I have it memorized, because I entered it so many fucking times. You have this is another Nintendo game that just really created characters. You create the Punch-Out universe, which Nintendo created in the first Punch-Out arcade game and then Super Punch-Out, their two first big hits in the arcade. And some of the characters crossed over, like Bob Bull, Piston Honda, some of the other members from Punch-Out 2 and Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo. We got a remake of the Punch-Out for the Wii, but I'm specifically talking about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I think we have a lot of other great Punch-Outs in the series, but specifically, this is the best one. It just grabbed a dynamic of culture at the time and really did crazy. You see our buddy Mario in there, who's making another video game appearance. But really, it was all about Mike. It was all about getting to this guy right here at the end and trying to beat Mike Tyson. So Little Mac also had that thing about him that I think all Nintendo characters do. The good ones, anyways, have this underestimated hero thing going on. And Little Mac being a little guy, someone about the size as most of the people that could possibly be playing the game, going up in this world against these monsters, essentially. And it becomes a memory game more than it's a boxing game. You have to remember the orders and the patterns that these people, that your opponents do, and replicate that and go after them in different ways. Learn the points where you can get your punches in, learn the right moments to be able to beat people's asses. So, and we're watching in the background someone kicking Mike Tyson's ass. You have to keep moving left and right. You couldn't block him once you get the timing down. It was easy. As we're watching right here, whoever the hell beat Mike Tyson in the arcade, or whoever beat the Punch-Out, had too many fucking quarters. Metroid. Ooh, Metroid's a great game series. And it's just Mike Tyson's Punch-Out in the Punch-Out series is one of those under-heralded Nintendo series in the whole scheme of things. And I think so because they're one of my favorites. I like it better than some of the other bigger franchises that get a lot more attention. Something like, say, Kirby or something. I feel like I love Kirby, and I'm not saying anything bad about the little fucking ball of wonder there, or Yoshi or something like that, but Little Mac, to me, there should be a Punch-Out game on every Nintendo console. And so far, we've had one on the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Then they skipped the 64, even though there was supposed to be a 64 game that got scrapped. Then there was there wasn't one on the GameCube. Then they did it on the Wii, which is an amazing game, had a really good response. Never had one on the Wii U. I hope we get one for the Switch, because I think, and I would love to see Mike come back to the Punch-Out series in some sense too. Now that Mike Tyson is such a beloved creature. And have like the Mike Tyson cartoon character from Mike Tyson's Mysteries join in and fight with Pigeon on his shoulder or something. So yes, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, number 10 on my top 10 list. So let's go to next on this list. This is where I might lose some people. Again, King's gameplay. Now, this is another one where I'm not necessarily talking about the just one game, right? I'm talking about a game series. I'm talking about an era of video games. I'm talking about 3 or 4 different franchises. Now, I'm talking about the Sierra games, the King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest, and Leisure Suit Larry. These games as a kid, watching my cousins play them and watching my aunts and watching older people play them created such wonder, and I think they're the foundation of the video games we have today. As much as a lot of these were computer games, point and click games, Commodore 64. You would release versions of it for the Nintendos, but those versions suck. Don't ever play the Nintendo versions of them. And there's remakes that update the graphics. Whichever one of these you might like, whether it be Leisure Suit Larry, which was a dirty fucking game, whether it be King's Quest, whether it be Space Quest, which is more sci-fi, these kind of games, I think, were the foundation for games like Zelda that came later. And in some cases, other giant adventure games that had these open world situations. Because at the time you were playing these games, at the time I played these games as a kid, I would say they were the closest thing I ever had into a fucking camera. Won't sit still today. This like never happens, guys. Sorry, first time viewers. These games never get the respect in the history of gaming that I think that they completely deserve. They gave me such a sense of wonder and such a sense of adventure and such a sense of open worldness that it's hard to quantify right now, and it's hard to talk about it in a sensible way now, because looking at these games, it's so easy to look at these and not have that level of imagination with them and go, oh, this is so formulaic. Go over here, pick this up. It's almost a joke right now. It's a cliche of a video game. But playing these, seeing these for the first time, seeing what a computer could do, seeing The Princess Bride with Fred Savage playing one of these at the beginning of the movie created such wonder in me, and I just think it's such a building block on video games, and I think these kind of games are one of those best video game series ever, and really define video games of an era and of all time. There's something about a classic when a classic works, and there's nothing like the adventure I felt with my imagination playing games like this as a child. And that's why King's Quest, Space Quest, and Leisure Suit Larry being the first time I ever got titties for myself. Leisure Suit Larry, if people don't know what that is, was a game that basically the whole goal was to get laid and have sex with this girl while you wore a condom so you wouldn't get herpes and shit. And it was like all through, like you could go have sex with her right away, but then your dick would fall off. You could go all through this stuff, and you had to like go through this seedy land and like pick up girls and shit. And it was a game like this. And all those games just kept me interested so much. I fucking love this stuff. Wasn't the kid in Big playing one of these when the movie started? Maybe that's what I'm thinking about, Craig. Maybe I'm not thinking about oh no, Princess Bride 2. He was playing one of these. I think he was playing King's Quest 2. And let me see if I can put Leisure Suit Larry 1. Let's see if I can see this. This is Leisure Suit Larry 1. Thank you to anyone who's letting me watch their videos. So basically, Larry was very similar, except you're in this world. You got to go to the casino, pick up girls, win money on bets. At the end of the game, sorry, I'm showing you. At the end of the game, get into the hot tub and have sex with the girl. Wasting no time. You hot in the water. Ooh, it feels good. The bubbles are stimulating as much as the beautiful woman from across with you. With the warmth of the water soaking into your body, you become quite relaxed. Hey now. Oh yeah, touch me, Larry. Oh, fuck yeah, baby. Leisure Suit Larry. I don't know. I can't lie. I know these games, some people might not have the same affection, but I think these games informed a whole generation of adventure, point-and-click games that came from this. The LucasArts games, Maniac Mansion, Monkey Island, all the games that... I don't know the timetables of them all, but for me and for my interest, the King's Quest and the Sierra universe is what defined adventure gaming, and is one of the greatest game series of all time. But this game is amazing, and if you guys want to keep reading that along with me, you guys can keep reading this shit. This game was incredible. Oh yeah. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, can you take a hint? As you leave the hot tub, Eve speaks at you at last. Say, Larry, you're really glad that you could have sex with me, huh? Let's do it. Oh yeah, here we go. Larry's about to have some sex. Do it, Larry. Do it, Larry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Larry. Get it. Get some. Oh yeah, get some, Larry. Oh yeah, Larry. You done it. You won. You lost your virginity. And I cannot say enough things as a kid playing this game and going through the imagination of this shit. It was so incredible. That's Leisure Suit Larry and the other adventure games of the era. Certain ones are a little bit easier, a little harder than others. The King's Quest games eventually became so complex and so deep in the stuff you needed to do by the end, by King's Quest 4, 5, 6, all those games and stuff. And as the computers developed, the games kept getting good. And I think the series eventually fell out and they tried to remake it. I don't think they ever quite captured the magic in some of the remake game series that they put out recently. I just don't think, it's almost like Dragon's Lair in that sense. It can never quite capture that bubble that it had. Same with Larry. There's always a new Larry game that they try to do, but usually they make it too cheesy. And what made the original Larry game so good was how dirty and raunchy it was. And let's continue. Ooh, Duke Nukem 3D. Number 8 on my list is another game that some people might never have heard of. That's great, Phil. And it is a game that I played on the Genesis. Now there is a Super Nintendo version of this game. There is a couple of different versions of this game. There's probably a computer version of this game somewhere too, which I think ultimately probably should have been a computer game, but I initially played it on the Genesis. This was probably, we're getting into games that I was completely obsessed with. This is a game I was mind-alteringly obsessed with throughout my life. And I think it's so important of an influence on strategy games and on simulation games. I think this is, in some ways, with Civ, with Age of Empire, whatever that game was, that you would the games, other games like Civ, and I think to eventually lead to the pinnacle of that series with Civ and the Total War series, which I think is like some of the pinnacle of these kind of games. You have this granddaddy here, and this game is one of those games that does not hold up. Because when you go back and play it, especially if you play it on the old systems, it's one of those games you use a control pad for your mouse movements. So you're like, and the controls suck in retrospect playing it now. But when you're a kid, you're playing it. It was a game that was stolen from my house. And before you could go to old game companies and game stores that exist around the world, I couldn't find this game again. And I went on probably a 2 or 3 year mission and hunt to find the game and play it again, finally culminating in finding it and playing it and being disappointed. But the game's worth and merit for me for its influence on games like StarCraft, Command & Conquer, the Total War series, Civilization, all of it, I look back on some level to this game. And this game is the foundation of all of that. People asked if a strategy game is on here. This is probably... It isn't the only strategy game. Some people could say a game I'm going to talk about later is a role-playing game, but I'd argue it's a strategy game. But this game is a simulation strategy game, and it's probably my favorite at core, where I really want them to make a modern-day remake of this game. And this game is called Populous. Populous, the goal of the game Populous is you are a god. I am God here. And you face off against the evil. And you each have different powers. Earthquakes, swamps, nights, volcanoes, floods, and Armageddon. Your goal is to wipe out the other civilization before you get wiped out. Basic concept. The goal. So you are a deity of some kind. And when you create the land, you start the game with the power and ability to raise and lower the land. So you can create it, and people can create castles and develop the civilizations. And as that happens, your power bar of how much your people support you goes up. And when that power bar reaches different levels, you get different powers like Earthquake. So you can choose that to say fuck your people and smite them down with fucking superpowers down on them. Or you can do it and try to fuck with your enemy people and go over. Ultimately, you have to lead up to the point where you have to wipe out the other civilization before they wipe you out. And that's the goal of the game. It's to wipe out each civilization. So much fun. Especially as a kid playing this game for the first time, I think this game is so important for the development and one of the building blocks, one of the great games of all time, even though it's kind of forgotten about through time. I love this game, Populous. The game itself holds up. The controls of the game don't hold up. But the game itself, playing it, holds up a great fucking deal. They tried sequels to this, never could create the magic that this game quite had. So that is why Populous is number 8 on my list. I fucking love this game. Fucking love it. Fucking love it. Let me play a quick song because I need a quick second to run in the other room.
Dick on, dick on, dick on. Dick on, dick on, dick on. Dick on, dick.
Okay, so I don't know. I always love this game, and if people haven't played it, it's a tough game to go back and suggest to you because certain elements of it are so dated and are just of the era. Like, you can see it right there where your controls take up most of the screen. You only get a little small place in the screen. This should be a full screen game where you have your powers right down at the bottom of the screen, like right there, and the map up on the left side or something. Not planned out correctly at all. But as I said, I love this game so much. And I may think more modern day civilizations are better games than this now, but it's hard to judge like that. Because do I judge this game in the time period? At the time period this game came out, playing this on the Sega Genesis, this game was revolutionary. I could not believe how awesome this was and how much control I had over this world. So it's all relative. It's all fucking relative. Now, number 7 on my list. This one is this is going to be a fun one to talk about because this is the highest I have a sports game at number 7. And this game that I'm going to talk about, I love this game so fucking much, and this game got more of my time and energy than almost any other game on this list because it was the first game that I could play that I could make players. I could make players, pick my whole team, play through a whole season, 162 games of a season, get statistics, detailed statistics about each player's stats. I could simulate whole seasons and simulate years of leagues and look at all the statistics and stuff. I could power up my players. I could have magic drafts where I could enter secret codes to get Superman huge, amazing teams of players with 999 on everything. This started my interest in role-playing. I'm thanking a sports game at number 7 here for my interest in role-playing in general and imagination, because I wouldn't just play this game. I would create worlds around this game. I would create hundreds of characters and name them and write backstories on them. I was playing D&D with this game. And this is the best sports game of all time. And because it was the first to do this, and it was the first to do it great. It does stuff right that Madden and 2K sport games don't do today. This game did things right. And some people might already know what I'm talking about at this point. Some people might be like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about, asshole? The game I'm talking about right now, dumb stoner in the back's like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Let me fucking eat a sandwich and chill, pal. I'm, of course, talking about from SNK, the classic, the great, the best sports game of all time, or my favorite sports game of all time, Baseball Stars. Wow, what a game. Not only is the gameplay still my favorite baseball game ever to play a video game. I don't like modern day baseball games. I like Home Run. I liked the original Baseball for the Nintendo, which I thought was an excellent game. So many good baseball games from the Nintendo. Major League Baseball, RBI Baseball. I thought some people might be like, it's a good game, Phil, but that's not my favorite baseball game on the Nintendo. I'm sorry, it's my favorite baseball game on the Nintendo. I think the gameplay of it is the best. You get the most control with your pitchers. Yeah, you only get that many teams, and they're fake teams. You have the American Stars, which is all like classic baseball players like Babe Ruth. You have the Japanese team, which is all Japanese players. It's quicker. You have the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling team, like the League of Their Own team. And you have all these different kinds of players. But again, what I'm saying, the selling point of this game is you could create as many teams as you wanted, design their uniforms, create the logos, create the names, play it, and look how smooth the gameplay of this looks. Even today, not very pixelated, I just think the game has this classic look that still holds up. The pitching, you had more control than any other pitching game ever. The batting was what felt good and had kind of like a good way about it, and it was very true to baseball in the sense that it was never easy to hit it, even when you had very strong people. I don't know. I love this game in every possible way. My favorite sports game of all time. Baseball Stars was the shit for its time. Yeah, play the game. It's always on your mind. Nice job. Pitch the game, Phil. I don't know which one it is, but I want to play it. Drum roll out of left field. Baseball Stars was the shit for its time. I can't understand baseball, though, but never really into it. I'm not even that into baseball. Age of Empires was crazy on the PC for the first time. Really sweet. I played Shinobi. Did you ever play Shinobi? Oh, Shinobi. Amazing games for the Sega Master System. Incredibly awesome, Jay. And Jay, I would love, if you haven't already, voicemail lines are open. So give me a list of your top 5. Just give me 5 or 10 of your favorite video games of all time, or your favorite Sega games of all time, something like that. And if anyone else wants to call and leave a message in on that, please do. 781-990-8509. I'll play that at the end here, and getting closer to the top of our list. But I know some people, again, baseball's not my favorite sport. I think it was just the sheer player creation aspects and all the stuff you had, and repeat what I said about Tecmo Bowl. I used to videotape these games and watch them back and do commentary to it. Create, like I said, these whole backstories to every single character on my team. And in these rivalries and this shit. Excuse me. I had the Major League team where I had all the players from Major League on it. You know, I had the Bad News Bears team. I had the high school baseball team of my high school baseball players. And then I had all the crazy team that had, like, you know, all my players on it. Like Jimmy Page and Flea and, I don't know, all this other shit. Great shit. Yeah, it's just really clean graphics. And it holds up. It's still a lot of fun. So, number 7 on my list, Baseball Stars. Okay, so we're not quite into our top 5 yet, but we're at our top 6. So let me get to our top 6 here. Oh my goodness, this is when it gets difficult because sorry, I'm pulling up my video here. I'm trying, like, there's so many different amazing gameplay videos of this game series. This is another game series here. And as we get to our top 6 here, okay, 5 of the top 6 are game series, not individual games in this top here. So this is where it got hard because I didn't want to just have all one game series. So I wanted to touch on a couple of different ones. Number 6 is a fighting game series. And for my interest, I know I'm going to have 100 billion people that are fans of a billion other fighting game series going, Phil, if you say what I think you're going to say right now, I'm going to be angry. Spoiler alert for my favorite fighting game of all time. This is my favorite fighting game of all series of all time. Each game is better and better, minus one of them. But even from the very beginning, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the first one. But the first one or the most recent one. And I know some huge fans of the second one. And once I say what it is, you'll know what I mean here. The second one are going to be angry with me for saying that. But I'd say my favorite one is either the first one or the most recent one that came out on the Wii U. So, enough wasting happy horse shit time. Let's get to talking about the game I want to talk about once I get through the commercial break. I'm, of course, talking at this point about the Super Smash Bros. Fighting game series. Now, Super Smash Bros., the game, is my... Wait, let me get some gameplay here. Super Smash Bros., for me, is my favorite of the fighting game series. I love Street Fighter. I like Mortal Kombat a great deal. I like Soul Calibur. Holy shit, I like Soul Calibur. But Smash Bros. To me takes everything that's great about fighting games and combines it into this exciting sort of situation where you have all these characters that I truly love with all very unique abilities and talents playing a game that isn't as simple as just beating the shit out of your opponent. Your goal in Smash Brothers is to knock your opponents out of the ring or out of the board, almost like a sumo match, almost like a Royal Rumble, for instance. In Smash Brothers, you can play it with multiple players. It's not a one-on-one fighting game. You can play it in the most recent one with up to 8 players at once. But ultimately, it's a 4-player simultaneous. Sometimes I do like playing it in one-on-one competitions too, like duels in Smash Brothers can be very fucking incredible. But I feel like it gives you the most wider range of abilities, the most wider range of styles of being able to play this. It works the best as a casual fighting game for people just picking it up, or a game that can be used on the professional gaming level. That it's one of the most popular pro games with Melee of all time, and was a big foundation force of the e-game generation that we live in now, came from the love of the game Smash Brothers. And I think the Nintendo characters make it so personal for me. My experience with Smash Brothers was a game I just picked up on a whim. I was going past the store, I was coming out of work that day, and I just had cashed my paycheck and paid all my bills, and I had enough left over. As some people deal with this stuff, you know, you pay all your bills for the month, and you're like, I have enough to buy a video game, and I'm like, I'm going to buy a game. I don't know what game to get. Went out to the store, looked at all the games available, said, Smash Brothers? Yeah, there's nothing really here I want to buy. Went home, saw the commercial for it. Of all the characters beating the shit out of each other. Got back on my rollerblades, rollerbladed my ass back to the game store, bought it, played it, Didn't stop playing it for fucking a week. Called my friend Matt over, who does the Sopranos streams with me, and me and him started playing it. Next thing, we invited Joe over, who came over and started playing it. Then we invited my friend Opie over, we started playing it. Then we invited my friend Dan over and started playing it. Then we invited my friend Devin over and we started playing. And then before we knew it, we weren't playing Mario Kart anymore. We weren't playing Bond anymore. We weren't playing Perfect Dark anymore. We were playing Smash Brothers. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Brawl comes out. We're playing Smash Brothers over and over and over again, non-stop. Then, of course, we went different ways and all that sort of stuff. I think it gives you the most variation in a fighting game series. Because of all the different powers and abilities that each character has, feels completely different in some cases. You use characters, especially in this new game, like the Duck Hunt dog or something like that, or Cooper Jr., or in the originals, like the way Ness feels completely different than Link or Captain Falcon. Also, it's very important for bringing back into the mainstream one of the game series that may still be on this list later. So, Smash Brothers, this is when I'm going to get very Nintendo-centric, guys. Sorry. I love a lot of other fighting game series. I do. But none of them I would say I'd put in that top list of my favorite games. Because maybe I'm more of an RPG adventure game person, and I'm more of a character-driven in my video games or something. I don't know what it is. Or maybe it's just that the gameplay feels the most smooth. I don't feel like I'm at all inebriated in my movements with my character and can move any direction I want and feel like the controls are so responsive in Smash Brothers, where some fighting games, even the great ones, I think that's the case in Street Fighter 2, but like I play the new Street Fighter, I feel like my movements are inebriated a little bit. That's kind of what I like about Soul Calibur so much. It's because I feel like, almost one-for-one movements with what my control scheme is. Fighting games are a real lot of fun. I love them. They're so competitively awesome. Smash Brothers takes it to the next level for me on every possible way. That's why Smash Brothers is number 6 in my top favorite games. Doesn't quite bust into the top 5, but belongs up here as the greatest fighting game series of all time. Fucking, sweet, it looks like a clusterfuck. Fuck, this is making me want to play Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers, everyone loves Street Fighter. He said people everyone that loves Street Fighter, he said, people would be mad at him. Mortal Kombat, I'm guessing. Street Fighter, Tekken. Tekken's another great one. Tekken would be on Stephanie's list, to be honest with you, to talk about. I have honorable mentions, and honorable mentions are literally every one of those fighting games you guys are saying. Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom. All those games are in my honorable mention list because they're games that I would say are in there, in there for me. When I'm playing them, I love them. I can't say they're, fuck, that game's shitty. It's not like a game like, Killer Instinct's another game I fucking love. I'm trying to think of a fighting game I don't like. I never really liked Virtual Fighter, or I never really liked, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones of that era or something like that. There were a couple of games like that I didn't like. I thought Virtual Fighter was way too slow always. And I get even in the newer versions of it, I just, I never liked it, too blocky, whatever. I don't know. But I'm saying I love fighting games. I just don't love them in the point to put them on this greatest list of my favorite memories of games. But some of my best moments of competitive gaming comes in fighting games, obviously. Going to video game tournaments, playing certain games competitively or whatever, sucking at them, being in an arcade with quarters lining up to face off the kid that's ruling the roost in Street Fighter that particular time. And I'd say if I had to pick one of all of those games, probably be Street Fighter, maybe be Soul Calibur. I don't know. I'll talk about that a little bit after, but all those games are an honorable mention. So the fact that Smash just got picked, this is where I would have put my favorite fighting game. And Smash Brothers won that competition in my mind. So, again, almost like I could say Smash Brothers series and fighting games are here. Because I do love fighting games. I just don't love them enough to cloud my whole list with like, oh, and then the Tekken's here, and then this, and this, and this. So, there we go. The reason you almost died in Rollerblades. I almost died a couple times on Rollerblades. Urban Champion, good fighting game. Lindsay almost died in Rollerblades. I almost died a couple times on Rollerblades too. Because I was stupid and I used to go around without a helmet and shit like that, like an idiot. But that's a different story for a different podcast. Let's get to our top motherfucking 5 here. Top 5. Now, the top 5 is brought to you by me having to go in the other room for a second and make sure Lotus is okay. So I will be right back. I will be right back for our top 5 of all time, top 5 video games of all time. Let me play. Sorry, I'm like looking for a song to play. Just play a fucking song, asshole. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a good song. It just needs to be. Doesn't have to be a good song. Just play a song. I'll be right back. Top 5, baby. Okay, top 5 brought to you by my ass. Brought to you by some technical difficulties right here and making a sandwich. Now, here we go. Grooviest intermission ever. Thank you. 4 times as funky. Lotus, top 5 because of them boobs. So, let's get to our top 5 game series of all time. Or top 5 video games or video game series of all time. So, how do I do this one? Okay. So, I mean, the only reason why I'm like pausing and stuff before I say what I want to say here is because it's very, very coincidental or very good that the technical difficulty sign is up right now at number 5, because number 5 is in fact none other than that plumber himself, the one and only Mario. That's right, Super Mario Brothers. And why aren't I hearing music? Why isn't music playing right now? Oh, there we go. I'm like, why is there no sound? Now I'm probably gonna get flagged in here for Nintendo. Nintendo's gonna flag me just for showing their gameplay. Oh, I'm actually still on the other screen. Sorry about that. It's Super Mario Brothers. It's the Super Mario Brothers series at number 5. And if I had to pick one of all of the Super Mario Brothers games, which fuck you for making me do this, if you're gonna sit there and fucking put a gun to my head and go, pick your favorite Mario game of all time, I would probably have to pick Super Mario Bros. 3. I feel like Super Mario Bros. 3 has the correct balance of difficulty with fun. I feel like Super Mario Bros. 3 has the best power-ups of almost any Mario game, even to date. I feel like the Koopa kids, like fighting all the different Koopa children and all of that's one of the most fun aspects of it. The introduction to this game with the movie The Wizard was one of the best lead-ins. But let's take it through the entire Super Mario Bros. Series here, and let's talk about the bad one, if there is a bad one. Mario started off in Donkey Kong. No, it's not a Mario game, but Mario is the protagonist in that game, Jumpman. So we're not calling that a Mario game. Then there's the Super Mario Brothers game, which isn't the best arcade game, but it is fun at least. 2-player game simultaneously, very competitive. Then when we make the jump to Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers might be in some people's level their favorite game. The pack-in game for the Nintendo Entertainment System was an arcade version of it too, especially in the Play Now systems, but ultimately was a home console game. Really could say changed gaming. The smells like teen spirit to grunge music of video games, home console games of the time. Really kind of set the standard and helped Nintendo become what they were from Super Mario Brothers, the original one. Then Super Mario Brothers 2 rolled around and Japan thought it was too difficult, so they gave us Doki Doki Panic or something like that, which I really do like Doki Doki. I also like the Lost levels of the original Super Mario Brothers 2. I think they're fucking hard as shit, and I would have liked to play that as a kid when I was as sharp as I possibly could have been in my Mario skills. I'm old and slow now, so playing the Lost levels game now is extra difficult because of my limited hand-eye reflex coordination issues because of too many sandwiches. But I really did like Super Mario Brothers 2, the original, the American version, the Doki Doki one, because it introduced so many other elements to the Mario series, whether it be Birdo, a couple of other things too. Certain powers, like picking things up and throwing them. And that game, there's a whole bunch of documentaries. Check out the Gaming Historians channel or other people's channels that do gaming history type stuff if you want to know more about how Super Mario Brothers 2 ended up basically being another game with Mario skins on it. But I really like that. But then when Super Mario Bros. 3 came out, this game, I had played this game a few months before it was released in the United States because a buddy of mine, John S., with his brothers Steve S. and Dave S., were dad worked in Japan, so he brought them home a Famicom, so they'd always get import games. So I got to play Mario early, and their Zelda was a Japanese version of Zelda and stuff like that. So I got to play this game a little bit early too, and I think this is such a beautiful, amazing. It's the pinnacle of the Nintendo Entertainment System. It might be the greatest singular game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Might be Super Mario Bros. 3 in a lot of ways. So then we go over to the Super Nintendo, and you get Super Mario World. Fuck me and my Gently with a Chainsaw. Just another beginning to end incredible game. The only reason why I don't have it as high as Super Mario Bros. 3 is I feel like Super Mario Bros. World is easier. Eventually, especially when you know how to play Super Mario Bros. 3, it still gives me difficulty. I play Super Mario Bros. World, and I can kind of like play it with one hand almost at times. I think it's a very easy Mario game. And then we get to the GameCube. And I think the GameCube's when we first bump into, and yes, I am aware I'm skipping like Mario sports games and shit like that, or Mario versus like Mario side off games. I'm talking about the main Mario series games. So then we go to Sunshine, which I think is the worst of all the Mario games. So I'll omit it from this list a little bit. I just think it doesn't work. It's we got 64 before that. I'm sorry, 64 before that, which was a great transitional into this 3D environment game. Some people's favorite Mario of all time, which I don't blame you. It's a great Mario game. To me, Ocarina symbolizes more that introduction into the 3D worlds more than Mario 64 does, but it has to be mentioned here as an incredible game and of welcoming a whole slew of motherfuckers into seeing 3D gaming for the very first time. And just being very transitional and revolutionary to the later Mario games to come, like Galaxy and Sunshine, as I mentioned. Sunshine, again, the next game, I feel like was the first dud, kind of transitional to get to the point where they were going to do Galaxy. Then after that, we get to Galaxy, which some people could say is the greatest of all the Mario games. In Galaxy 2, Super Mario Land on the handheld, Super Mario Brothers World, which is one of my favorite Mario games. I almost wanted to say that one is my favorite. The 3D world, I think, just takes everything that's great about 3D Marios and everything that's great about side-scrolling Marios and combines them. The new Super Mario Brothers of the Wii era and the new Super Mario Brothers 2 of the Wii U era, both excellent side-scrolling Mario adventures that keep increasing in the abilities Mario gets, the power-ups Mario gets. All of these reasons and not make Mario the best side-scrolling game of all time, one of the most influential, if not the most influential video game character of all time, the game that does power-ups better than anybody, a franchise that may do a similar kind of game every time, but the story doesn't matter. It's all about the gameplay, constantly innovating. It is the innovation part of the Nintendo systems. Whatever game that they're doing, they're pushing with the Mario game and trying to do the new thing about it. This new game coming up, Mario Odyssey, looks incredible. A return to the 3D environment of Mario games. It's about just expecting it now. I do not expect a bad Mario game. It doesn't happen. Even Sunshine is good. It's just, I don't like the water mechanic. And I didn't play it enough to really love it or anything. But I think if you like Mario, if you buy it in, every Mario game gives you something new and something awesome. And that's why Mario is the first one in my top 5. Fucking awesome. I feel the way about Mario as you do about Zelda, so you can imagine. Timo, I love you, Timo. But if you notice, Mario's number 5, and I still haven't talked about that other one. So, so it's we'll see. We'll see about that. Fuck yes. Play video games. Is that how you call in Pornhub now analysis? I'm ready to play some games. It's like hurting my chest right now. Timo! Great to see Timo in the live motherfucking chat. Timo, hey analysis. I hope you were feeling better, my friend. Can't believe Alan's missing this. Yeah, I played that one. Thank you. Fuckity, Phil. God damn it. You should have took my mess before jumping into this stream. Should have took my message before... God damn it, Phil. Should have took my mess before jumping into this stream. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Do I have any messages? See, I read that as you should have taken my messages before jumping in this stream. Does that mean you want to join me, Timo? So Super Mario Maker was awesome too. Yeah, so I have Super Mario Brothers Maker. That is another game that just it breaks it down. It shows you down. It deconstructs it. It deconstructs the Mario formula and lets you be right in on making it. And that's part of the reason what makes that game so well and continuously increases the Mario universe. And I guess they've been wanting to do a Mario Maker game for so much. Oh, gave me my walking papers yesterday. Awesome, Timo. Yay, Timo is out of the hospital. Everyone give Timo your best. Go hug yourself in the live motherfucking chat. Show my good friend and the best motherfucker of all time, Timo, for all the support she gives me forever. I'm a lover so much. Oh, should have taken my meds. Okay, fair enough. I thought you were like, you should have taken my message before this stream, meaning like you wanted to join in on the video game stream or something like that. Or you should have taken my call or something. Or I just looked to see if you left a voicemail. Yep, I can't read. Sandwiches tend to do that. So number 5 on my list is, as I said, the Mario series. Love you, Super Mario series. Can't wait for a new one that is coming real fucking soon. So, now, let's get to this next one. Let's see. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get a good place to click on this one. Okay. Number 4, I'll be honest. If people are watching this, I'm obviously very partial to old games. I'm partial to games that meant something to me in a certain period of time that get defined as the greatest games of all time for me. I do have an affinity for older types of games, less on not necessarily in the last 2 or 3 generations. That being said, they are a part of one of my top 5 gaming series of all time. And that is at number 4. This company did something that some could argue could never have been done. That is there was almost like, you know how like video game movies are always shit? And it's the first person that makes a really good video game movie, it's going to feel really awesome. And for a generation, certain games from this kind of genre sucked. They were either beat 'em up games, or they were overcomplicated control games, or just didn't feel quick time event games, or just didn't feel quite right. This company took one of the most beloved superhero properties and made, to me, one of the best video games ever. And I'm talking about all 3 of the series, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the second one. But all 3 are great in their way. And of course, people know what I'm talking about now. Of course, I'm talking about number 4 on the greatest video games of all time, Arkham series of video games. Now, the Arkham series did something I didn't think could be done. Make a great superhero video game. Superhero games were kind of shitty up until this point. They were, like I said, they were either beat 'em up games or nothing kind of special. What the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham, what was the last one called? I'm blanking on the last one's title. Sorry about that. No matter what these games, some could argue they were like giant Zelda games at point, but I think each one of these Arkham Knight, each one of these games. I see it when I can't think of something, I'll have to stop. I get stopped in my boots. I'm like, wait, and then it screws me up from that point on a little bit. I'm like, I couldn't think of the word night. What the fuck is wrong? Timo, I want doctors to recommend 420. PacMan was like number 10. Oh fuck, Phil, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, has PacMan been mentioned? Don't fucking do it. I meant to vow to never smoke 420 again, but you know it's bad when doctors are recommending shit. Are BioShock, Halo's, Gears of War in here? No, but BioShock, Halo are both on my honorable mentions. The Arkham Knight, thank you. Welcome, Timo. Hope you get all the way better. None of them were, but I will mention those. Like I said, this video game list might not be your list, and I want you guys to share your list, whether it be calling in on a voicemail right now and leaving it to get it on the show, in the comment section below after this video is posted, or in the live motherfucking chat right now, and I will try to read it here as we get towards the end. I'd love to hear what your top lists, because they're going to be very different from mine, but I feel like this game is the first game to really put you in the eyes of feeling like the superhero in all possible ways. I feel like Batman when I'm playing these games. Excellent story, excellent voice acting, and you get Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, the prototypical Batman and Joker. It's an exceptionally personal story, especially when you get into Arkham Knight. All the scenes that you have with Joker and Batman are just so exceptionally well done. The voice acting works, interactions, the combat is so fucking fun and rewarding feeling that when you go and you step up and you take on an army of people and bounce from point to point, it feels so great. This game, almost similar to something like God of War or Devil May Cry afterwards, the combat system of this game is copied in so many games, whether it be Spider-Man, that Spider-Man Dimensions game that came out, the Ninja Turtle game that came out. So many other games are copying, even you could say Shadow of Mordor, in a sword standpoint, you're using different weapons, but uses a similar combat scheme as the Arkham games. And I just think these games are near perfect. There's elements in each one of them that's a little tedious and that work around the edges. I think less so in the second game. The third game, I don't love all the Batmobile missions, and it kind of, I roll my eyes, but
how long has it been? Let's see. There was an asylum, some monsters, and oh, that's right. You left me to die. Now, you probably don't remember it that way, but who cares? You just need to worry about the bombs. Hurry up now. Clock's ticking.
And it's just any game you got Mark Hamill doing the Mark Hamill Joker voice in it too has to be the best for me. Batman flying across the land all through solving crimes. This game was so deep, so many Riddler trophies, so many side missions, so much stuff. The boss fight with Mr. Freeze was one of my favorite gaming moments I've ever had. So many incredible, exceptional moments of feeling like Batman and having fun playing a video game in the Arkham series. So I think the best superhero game of all time, one of the best adventure games of all time in that Zelda-like style, I think cannot say enough fucking amazing things about the Arkham series from beginning to end. Great music, great atmosphere, great story, incredible voice acting, incredible action, incredible ways that you can replay value with all the extra trophies, with all the extra elements that you could have to it, all the battle training missions that you could do where you just went in and see how many guys you could fucking knock down, all the leaderboard shit, all of that. DLC that was incredible. The Catwoman stuff was worth it. I don't know. I love these games and I constantly want to replay them, and I constantly love every aspect of all three of them, or love so many aspects of all three of them, even if four of them, even though if there's some parts here and there that are wonky at times. Hamill and Jack for me. Better than Jack, Leto, and even fucking Ledger says broke. Oh my god, I love the Warriors. Had to take a bump of coke to regent your health. Mark is the fucking Joker. Mark is the fucking Joker. He's just, again, he is the fucking Joker to me. That's a great way of saying it. And that's why Arkham City is number 4, or the Arkham world is number 4. So if anyone has a Wii U, by the way, I know this is really random, and I know there's not a lot of people with a Wii U, but if you haven't played Arkham City in a long time, or if you by chance have never played Arkham City, it's a good excuse to play it on the Wii U, because I think you get the best version of Arkham City because of the Wii U pad works as a map, and you can have a bunch of other different features. It's one of the things that Rocksteady actually used it. It was released later as a port and all that stuff, but I do think it's the best version of that game. So Zelda's like Arkham City? I thought Zelda was for nerds. Maybe I'm actually going to look it up now. Phil, stream the Arkham series. Do it. Never mind, just skim for the replay. Thank you to everyone that's joining me this afternoon, anyone that happens to be popping in here, as we're getting now to our top 3 video game series of all time. Now, this top 3 was tough again. This was a real tough list to get. Number 1, I think most people probably thought they knew what my number 1 would be, but so let's get into this. Let's get into number 3 here. And I think that this game is this is one of those ones that some people might never have played before. And this is someone could say another strategy game. It's also a role-playing game. It's like a game like nothing you've ever played before, except for maybe if you ever played the game Shining Force for the Sega. That, of course, I'm talking about a great game series for... Wait, I'm sorry. I'm gotta get my visual here. Let me get... Now, give it to me now. Give me my fucking shit here. Here we go. Now, I am talking about one of the most underrated Nintendo franchises of all time. This game series, I have more hours of enjoyment out of this role-playing game than any other kind of role-playing series, partially because it's not a role-playing game straight out. It is a strategy-oriented game, and I am talking about the game series Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is one of the deepest, most amazing role-playing game series of all time. It's not just simple turn-based combat. It's turn-based combat almost like a game of chess. As you can see, you can move your players and your characters across the board in different ways. Each character has different kinds of talents and attacks and abilities, and you have to think about what you have to do to conquer the specific challenge. Sometimes the challenge is defeat all the enemies on the board. Sometimes the challenge is save all the villagers, protect this person, do whatever. Not just that, you have detailed character stories where you get into these characters' backstories. And in later games, you can get people married and have kids and do all this sort of shit. What's another factor that's unique about this game series than others that makes it great? Someone could be, it looks like Shining Force, it looks like Final Fantasy Tactics. All games that were influenced by this game. What is so special about this game? One thing I really like about it is that if your character dies, if you fuck up in a mission and you act like an idiot and you just try to zip through your missions and your favorite fucking character dies that you've been using, that character is gone from the game. So it becomes of utmost importance, and every battle becomes so ridiculously important. I feel like this game is the high point of strategy role-playing. It combines it perfectly in every possible way. Has story structure. If you're into anime, has deep anime history and deep anime roots and a lot of really great stuff that we never get over here for people to see. This game series was so big over in Japan. The original Fire Emblem the Fire Emblem that we got over here as our first Fire Emblem was something like the 5th Fire Emblem or something like that. Fire Emblem series was going to end a couple of years ago with the game Awakenings was going to be the last one because it wasn't doing so well. And Awakenings did so fucking well because it was so fucking good, probably the best of all the Fire Emblem games for the 3DS. It spurned this series to go on to the point right now where it's getting special attention for the Switch. It's getting a Dynasty Warriors game called Fire Emblem Warriors. It was the 3rd, if you count Pokemon Go, Nintendo handheld game. They put out a Fire Emblem handheld game. It's getting like 4 or 5 releases in this next year. Nintendo is finally embracing, from a localization, Nintendo of America is embracing the Fire Emblem series and giving Fire Emblem fans what they've struggled for forever. Never do I have as much fun as when I'm playing through a Fire Emblem game completely. And because I can pause, eat a sandwich, go into the other room. It's relaxing, intense, all at the same time. And I'm not very good at chess, but I'm good at Fire Emblem video games. And so it makes me feel good about myself. If you like strategy games, if you played games like if you like strategy games, if you played games like Final Fantasy Tactics and you've liked it, if you played Shining Force on the Sega Genesis back in the day and you're looking for what you would feel like a spiritual successor to that, even though this is the OG, this is the game series you want to look into. Get a 3DS, buy Awakenings, do it. I'd say to get another version of it from the old systems, but they're too expensive now. Or wait for the Switch versions that are coming out. Or download the mobile game right now just to get a feel for this kind of gameplay. Fire Emblem is amazing. Could have been number 1 on my list. At times it was sitting at number 1 because of how much I love this series. I'd spend more time customizing my character. And Gears of War, it's peak gaming. Gears of War, Assassin's Creed, and Call of Duty are my top 3 for Craig. Man, this game seems like too much work. I'm too lazy. Fire Emblems. Number 2, Zelda. Number 1, Star Fox for Timo. Yes, Fire Emblem says strawberries. I agree with all you're saying, Phil. In no order for Havoc Strawberry. Smash Brothers Melee, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Age of Empires 2, Mario 64, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, Gears of War, Tetris, Skyrim, Super Mario World, Link to the Past. Great fucking list. Tom, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You can forget about the story and just be a motherfucking pirate. And here we go. Yeah, you could have had 5 games tied for number 1. So I just love this game so fucking much. I can't get enough of this game series. One of my highlight moments is hearing that there's a new console version of this game going, because for so long it's been a handheld system for the last couple of games. The last 3 games have been handhelds. So we haven't got a console version or true console version since the GameCube. So we didn't get a Wii one. And or a Wii U one. I'm really excited for it. It's probably my most anticipated Switch game. If you like these kind of games, and you can basically see right now what kind of game this is. If you have any predilection to games like this, play it. You won't regret this series. So, let's get to the number 1 and 2. Now, number 1 and 2 are interesting here. This is when things are going to get interesting. Because I think a lot of people probably think they know what my number 1 is. So it's really more about what my number 2, what I need to take a number 2. I think most people are pretty confident that they know what my number 1 is here. So let me go. Oh, fuck. What's going on? Am I typing in the wrong place? I hate when you type and it goes nowhere. You're like, where did I do that typing? That's dangerous. So let's do this. Let's take a look here. Now, this is where it's gonna get I'm sorry. I'm having difficult time thinking about this and how to quite get through this, because this game's gonna be very tough to talk about. So, no, it's not gonna be tough to talk about. Number 2 on my list of favorite games or game series is another game series. And very easily, this is another one that very easily could have been number 1. On so many ways, this is my number 1. And most days I probably would have this be number 1. But I did a lot of thinking, a lot of time on the toilet thinking, sitting in the shower thinking. And I had to do it this way. I have to. I'm sorry. Number 2 on my list is the Legend of Zelda series. Yes, you heard that correctly. People that know me very well. Where is it? Sorry, I'm looking for something. I said that correctly. The number 2 on my list is the Legend of Zelda series.
Sword and shield. It's a stolen horse, it's real. It's Groundhog Day on a 3-day course. Final man starts to strafe. Keep this weapon. If you wanna be safe, run around.
The Legend of Zelda. What can I say about the Legend of Zelda series? The first game turned me on in a way in my imagination, the Zelda rap, all that sort of stuff. I even liked Adventures of Link, Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, maybe one of the greatest games of all time, Ocarina of Time, one of the greatest games of all time, Majora's Mask, probably my favorite Zelda of all time, where it comes down to it. Wind Waker, truly beautiful in every possible way, so expansive, so much shit to do. Twilight Princess, a very good Zelda game, a little hollow at times maybe, but very huge world, a lot of fun. I think gets wrapped up in a lot of negativity because of how long it got pushed off, and I think works better if you played on the GameCube rather than the Wii. Then we move into Skyward Sword, probably my least favorite of the Zeldas. And I know we can also talk about A Link Between Two Worlds and talk about, the other two, Phantom Hourglass, Ages, the Seasons games and stuff like that. But I'm talking about, main Zelda games here. Then we go into Skyward Sword, which, I'm not a huge fan of the Skyward Sword. It's my least favorite Zelda game. I think some of the design points are really well done, but I don't love it. It's the only Zelda game I never completely finished. Then we go to maybe the best of them all in all, and I might be hyperbolic as I am at some points, but Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a near perfect video game. It takes the Zelda series, adds a different dynamic to it, and makes it deeper and feel more. You feel more on edge while you're playing it, harder in some ways, more expansive, give you an excuse to explore a lot more. Breath of the Wild may not be my favorite, but it's damn close. If I had to say the best Zelda games from beginning to end, if I had to just judge it, best Zelda games beginning to end, I would probably say the best one is Link to the Past, Ocarina. But my favorite two are Breath of the Wild and Majora's Mask. And I think Breath of the Wild could be argued in that list, but I think Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time are more complete games in everything you get out of it. And what I mean by that is Breath of the Wild's amazing, but it is kind of empty at times. The dungeons, I understand, we have all I was going to say swines, shrines and stuff, which are really awesome. But I wouldn't have minded 4 more dungeons, 2, to make it the greatest Zelda game of all time. Whereas I think Ocarina has the perfect balance of extra stuff and gameplay, all that sort of shit. And so I cannot say enough great things. Holy shit, we have a super chat donation by Timo, $20 super chat donation. Fuck yeah, I know you fucker, yes. Now call out analysis to start the Sons of Fuck video. He lost his bet. Everybody drink. Everyone drink, motherfuckers. Everyone drink. Well, I fucking knew it. I knew it. I know it, Phil. Damn it. Yes, I can't believe this. Number 2. Shadow of the Colossus for PS2 making an appearance, homie. Johnny Giantsbane, great to see you. Is Ned Stark behind this level of shock? Holy shit, nice twist. Oh my god, Phil, what's going on? You're killing me, Phil. What the fuck? What the fuck? And Timo with the $20 super chat donation. I already owe Craig a drink. So let me spin the wheel for Timo again. And Timo, thank you so much. And Timo, I swear to fuck, I did not plan this out. Timo, you got this one right here, Timo, which I don't know if you can see this. I don't have the closer cam on it right now. It's everyone drink. So I owe 2 drinks now, and Timo got her wish using psychic powers to do everybody drink. So she actually landed on everyone drink. Craig and Timo, thank you guys so much for the support you give the channel. It means so much that you guys donate on Super Chat and all the ways that people donate, whether on Patreon or help with some of our affiliate links, or the new way you can help us out by using our Amazon store link. And you can find that in the description box below. Start your shopping with that link. If you want to buy something, let me know and I'll add it there, especially around the holiday season. And that will help us out. And another way you can help us grow by doing that. So enough of that happy horse shit. Appreciate all that support. Help keeping me doing this. Help keeping me going. But Timo, you landed on everyone drink, motherfucker. Double drink. I owe double drink. I'm going to do it at the end here when I open it up a little bit. But let me get through my number ones. I owe 2 drinks, motherfuckers. So, rest in peace analysis. Drink up, fucker. Drink up, fucker. I don't even know if I have any hard alcohol. I think I'm going to have to drink a beer. It'll happen. It's going to happen. Oh my God, that's right. Let me go shopping right now. Timo, before you buy anything, it doesn't work if you just start the shopping with the link. The thing you want to buy needs to be there. So if you have anything you want to buy, private message me the link to it on Amazon and I'll add it to the store. So I want to make sure. I'm going to be like Santa with that shit. So I just keep adding stuff. So obviously get anything you want to get there. But if there's anything specific and you want to help the channel and you haven't been able to help out till now and you're going to buy something on Amazon anyway, that is a great way to help us. And so I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more and maybe promoting a couple products I like. So anyways, yeah, get your Funkos. Get your fucking Funkos now. So that is I don't know what else to say about the Zelda series other than I'm going to do a whole video just on the Zelda series, on my favorite Zelda games and why. So it's definitely a subject that's going to be explored later. But when really sitting down and talking about this list and exploring this and thinking over the last couple of weeks, one thought kept seeping into my mind of my favorite game, and it wasn't a Zelda game. And then I started to question myself. Phil, is this you? Are you inside your own mind? No, but seriously though, there's one game that is better than Zelda for me in my experience in playing it. He must do a Sansa. Oh, Analysis of Thrones and Timo made a side bet. I love prop bets, by the way. Thank you. I highly encourage prop bets in top 5 lists. Where you could choose Zelda, and I said number 2, and he said number 1. Now he must do a Sansa sucks video. Holy shit. This was not planned up. There was no shenanigans here. I promise you. And so let's get to our number 1. Holy shit. Let's get to our number 1 here on the list. Okay, guys. Number 1 on this list. Anyone have any guesses? Before we get into the number 1, let me talk about some of my honorable mentions before I talk about number 1. Number 1 honorable mention, Symphony of the Night, the Castlevania game. Wow. The best Castlevania game of all time. One of the best games of all time. If someone tells me Symphony of the Night's their favorite game of all time, I cannot doubt them on that one. It's near perfect. Great fucking game. Double Dragon in the arcade. Another one of those arcade games I talked about a little bit with beat 'em up games. Number Gauntlet. Great 4-player action. Team up work. Exceptionally well done. World of Warcraft. Yeah, I said World of Warcraft. MMOs are shit. I wasted a lot of my time on them. But if I have to say the best MMO of all time, Warcraft was as successful at its peak for a reason. And I had so much fun playing with Joe and his cousin Ben and my friend Nate and so many other people for so many hours playing Warcraft in the height that I was playing at it. So it deserves an honorable mention for the game that it was, as well as the original Warcraft. And StarCraft is also an honorable mention here as well for the Blizzard games. Diablo 2. Blizzard can be whatever Blizzard is, but Blizzard makes quality products if you're into what they're doing. Pitfall, the Simpsons arcade game, Tetris. Puzzle games would not be the same. The Game Boy and all its fucking machinations. It's all about Tetris. It really is. Tetris could very easy, again, be a number 1 on someone's list. Cannot give enough credit to the creators, and I know there's controversy about who created Tetris and all that, but Tetris is the ultimate ones of these games. So many games came afterward trying to copy what Tetris did. Some games did it well. Some games didn't do it well. Games like Columns fucking sucked. Games like Dr. Mario, which is maybe a little different, but still in the same universe. Lots of fun. Other games that were similar. Tetris is one of those games that still holds up. Still play it to this day. Stephanie and I play a battle Tetris game sometimes. I'm not very good at it. Joe's exceptionally awesome at Tetris. But I like Tetris. I played it on every video game. Every phone I've ever owned, I played a Tetris game. So Tetris definitely deserves to be an honorable mention sort of situation here. Let's see. Phantasy Star games. Phantasy Star 4 specifically for the Sega Genesis. Wow. Phantasy Star was, everyone was into Final Fantasy. I was into Phantasy Star. I fucking love these games. Classic role-playing games, as you would imagine, turns, spells, whose turn is it? Your turn to fight, exploring the city, solving mysteries, clues, whatever. Final Fantasy was always got the press. Phantasy Star was always my favorite. And right now we're just doing honorable mentions if anyone's popping on in right now. The Nintendo game Pro Wrestling. Fucking amazing. Wasted so many hours on that game. Great 2-player game. Street Fighter, X-Men the arcade game, Rampage the arcade game, DuckTales, Metroid Prime, Halo, Last of Us, Paperboy, Skate or Die, Super Breakout, Total War series, StarCraft. Those are all my honorable mentions. There's more honorable mentions I might not have mentioned, but all those games are incredibly awesome fucking games. Mega Man series is another one. Metroid series completely. Original Kid Icarus. All those game series are incredible. Resident Evil, fucking amazing. I love the Resident Evil series, especially Resident Evil 2. One of the greatest horror survival games of all time. Silent Hill 2. Another unbelievable, scary fucking game that I played through a lot and fucking loved every second of it. All amazing games, but not number one. Civilization, you every other game. Blades of Steel, BioShock, Twist, Pong is number one. Hard to go past the original one. Fallout 2 or Fallout 4, whatever the most recent Fallout was fucking amazing. Like, so many great games that I had so much time. The most recent Final Fantasy 15, I had a fucking ball with. Kingdom Hearts. The first time I played Kingdom Hearts, I loved every fucking second of that game. Like, that could be another honorable mention. The first Devil May Cry game was amazing. Like, Resident Evil 2, Claire and Leon love that shit. Love Resident Evil, the movies. What's left? People say, fuck. What's left? Telltale games? Analysis wants this to be a joke, and number one is Zelda 2. And number one is the Zelda overhead games. No. Number two was actually the 3D games. Number two is the overhead games. I actually did think about doing that. Kirby, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro I heard mentioned before, Twisted Metal. What was the name of that game series where the whole goal was to see how crashed up you could get a car? It was basically, what was it called? Burnout. Was it called Burnout maybe? Pole Position 2, a game I played a shit ton. Doom, Wolfenstein, all amazing games. I'm trying to get the, Devil May Cry sucks hairy ball, says Broke. I love the first Devil May Cry game. I don't like the recent ones, but that first one I thought was a lot of fucking fun. So many fucking Crash Bandicoot, Resident Evil 7, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, The Haunting with the Polter Dude. It's an underrated game. A lot of these games, and again, might be mentioned on different podcasts where I do best survival horror games, best this, best other thing. So many great games you guys are talking about that I want to mention and deserve places on my honorable mention list here. Toe Jam and Jay, great fucking game, Jay. Toe Jam and Earl, Battletoads, fucking lots, so many amazing. Duke Nukem at its best. Hey Bianca, great to see you, Bianca. Great. Anyone know Parasite Eve? I do not know that game. Phil, you have killed me. Oh, DMC the reboot. Splinter Cell. Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. Yes, Jay mentioned this earlier, and Timo mentioned it right now. Sega games. Altered Beast. Golden Axe. Like, all these games are so fucking ridiculously important to me at some point in time and would be games I would put on a best of list here and deserve to be mentioned. But they're all not number one. Bayonetta. Candy Crush. The Warriors. Great game. Rest in peace, Analysis of Thrones. Sorry, Analysis. I have to be true to me. And I went back and forth a couple times. Now, I gotta say, my top two, I switched a few times here. I did. But ultimately, I realized that a singular game experience against a whole army of games, I thought about each individual one of my Zelda experiences. And they're all exceptionally awesome. But none of them matched this tour de force of how I felt about playing my number one game. And still, I haven't seen, for whatever it's worth, I haven't seen anybody in the live chat. Maybe someone mentioned it earlier, but I haven't seen anyone mention it yet. And my number one on my list is, of course, wait, I gotta wait for it. No, not wait for it. Not wait for it, actually. Sorry, wait 1 second. Sorry, everybody. I just have to say, I just have to get the video of it up first. Number one on my list for the greatest video game of all time is, of course, can be no other game but... That's right, everyone. It's Superman 64. No, it's not Superman 64. Sorry about that. It's definitely not Superman 64. It is this game right fucking here. This is my favorite video game experience I had at all time. It's a role-playing game. It's not... So those that don't like role-playing games might not like it. I know Joe hates this game, or definitely does not love this game the same way that I do. But to me, what this game did is it started a video game company's legendary philosophy. Grabbed me in a sense that I've never had before since a Choose Your Own Adventure book. It was the greatest gaming experience, and I think all in all, the greatest video game of all time. And I am picking, I'm trying to give people hints to see if anyone can figure out what I'm talking about here. It is originally on the Xbox, but then eventually in the PC, eventually went to everywhere. It was from BioWare, the Knights of the Old Republic. That's right, Knights of the Old Republic. I have never had as good a time and as adventurous of an amazing experience in a video game as I have with Knights of the Old Republic. For me, it gives me the single best from beginning to end video game experience of my life because of the discovery aspect. Never really playing a game like this that so many decisions matter of the story, of how you do it, whether you want to be a light Jedi, a dark Jedi, exploring some event that happens in the game early on that just strands you and you have no clue what to do and you're just in nowhere's world and have to explore. Things you never thought could happen in a Star Wars game happen in this game. Surprises you each level, or surprised me each level of the story. Added more to the mythos of Star Wars than any of the prequel movies did for my interest. I know Broke is a bigger fan of the prequels and he knows that I like some aspects of them, but to me, this is the greatest Star Wars property, maybe even ever. Maybe, like, I love the original 3 movies, I really do, but this story, this tale of Revan, I was so engulfed by this the first time I played this game. I saw a friend playing this, and I played 5 minutes of it. I went and sold fucking everything and went out and collected bottles and cans so I could afford an Xbox so I could play this game. And I played it hundreds and hundreds of times, every possible way, designing my character, seeing the world of Star Wars in a different way. And I'm a Trekkie. I'm a fucking Trekkie. And Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, is my favorite video game of all time. The sequel is good. Not made by BioWare, and it shows. Has some interesting aspects of it. The Old Republic MMO is decent. But that's why it's an individual gaming experience. There was absolutely nothing like playing this game for the first time. It's easy to look at it back now and think about some of the things that happened that aren't surprising. But for me, I was more engulfed in this story, and I guess I'm story-driven. And the gameplay, I think, is the best use of turn-based gameplay ever, maybe. Even better than Fire Emblem, the way that it works, and the way that it almost feels like real combat when you're doing turn-based combat. The way you can set it up and the way you can automate your skills feels almost more like an MMO at times than it does like a turn-based action situation. Some of my favorite characters, like the android, calling all the humans flesh bags and shit. So many surprises along this way. I'm not going to ruin the ending of this game, but the end decisions you need to make in this game were mind-fucking. Mind-fucking. Took my mind, opened up my brain, and BioWare stuck its giant penis inside of it. Fucking A. Incredible. Phil, the stream isn't over. It's not too late to correct this egregious mistake. You made Kotar better than Zelda. Kotar, come on, blame it on the sandwiches. Blame it on the super chat shots. Anything, please, 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 please. I don't know if the story's canon, Jay. I don't give two flying fucks if it is. I believe it is because I believe Lucas told them that, famously told them, you can do anything in this world you want as long as you don't touch X, Y, and Z. And they're like, you mean we can even do this? And they said, yeah, sure. So I do think Revan, I don't know if people that are more familiar with Star Wars lore and what is canon and what is not canon, Broke's probably more familiar about that stuff with me, but I believe Star Wars has adopted Knights of the Old Republic as canon. I could be completely wrong about that, but I thought I read that somewhere where they accept the Revan and all that and the Starforge stuff as part of it. Fucking Revan, but over Zelda, says Strawberries, but over Zelda. Never played it, but none of this, it still looks better than Zelda. Fuck this, I have to play it. The only computer game I ever played is, oh my god, Phil, what the fuck? Star Wars, what the fuck? Seems to not be a popular choice. Star Wars, the twist. Fuck you, Phil. You're an asshole for not choosing Zelda. What the fuck? They need to make a Knights Republic trilogy. They do actually need to do that. I'm pulling a Sims. Thank God I didn't miss this stream. You heard Analysis. I know, Analysis and I have always been on the same page. And I know what some people are thinking, that they're surprised I picked this over Zelda. And it's just because of, as much as Zelda games have emotionally affected me from a gameplay standpoint, I think I ultimately picked Knights of the Old Republic over Zelda because as much as gameplay is important to me, the correct balance of gameplay and story makes the greatest game of all time for me. And Zelda, to me, as much as the stories are decent, they're very formulaic. And they're very much, on some level, generally twists on the same story. And a lot of times in Zelda history, I can't lie, I yada yada the story. And part of that is because the original Zelda game had no story. It wasn't about that. It was always about the gameplay. If I'm judging video games with the greatest gameplay of all time, Zelda in a wash. It would be Zelda, Arkham, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Tecmo Bowl. Like, it would be different, okay? Knights of the Old Republic, to me, correctly balances the greatest story in all of video games for me in the way that it goes beginning to end. I might be accelerating it, but I'm saying, for me, I was completely wrapped up in it in a way I never was. I remember at the time, I didn't leave my house till I beat this game. I turned into one of the Cartman and the kids from the South Park episode where they're playing Warcraft. Like, I turned into that person till I finished this game. I was so enthralled. Every decision, every choice. And the gameplay was awesome. The upgrading, and it fit every role-playing game game-playing element that I wanted. And if you see, turn-based combat is very high on the list too if you look at Fire Emblem, which is number 3. So by that rubric ranking order, Knights of the Old Republic just became the obvious answer for me as my favorite game of all time. Because I like it individually better than any Zelda story. Individually, it had more of an emotional effect on me. That being said, if I'm saying favorite video game series, just the series, Zelda would be number 1. But KOTOR as an individual game rises just a little bit above that. And it's fucking close. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you, Analysis. My tummy can't help with this laughing. I'm sorry, Analysis. Earthworm Jin was great as a show. Dude, Phil, I thought we had something. I thought we were your friends. I did some side work for you. I've designed some thumbnails for you, done some graphic work for you. And you do this to me? You're dead to me, Phil. Phil, you're dead to me. I'm officially dead. Analysis is officially unsubscribed from the channel. I just got the reports. Beep, 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 beep.
This just in. Analysis of Thrones has unsubscribed from the show, has stopped his patronage on the Patreon page, has reduced his donation, is actually making me pay him now, has deleted me as a friend, and is officially pissed at me for life.
So it is awful. Revan just killed Zelda. This was epic. Never seen this game, but now I want to play it just because. What's a Zelda? I'm sorry. Analysis is gone. He's leaving. I have Analysis's top 10 right here, and I'm going to read it. Hey, Phil, not sure if you were taking top 10 lists from viewers, but if so, number 10, Mario Kart. Number 9, Fire Emblem Conquest. Number 8, Pikmin. Oh, awesome choice. Number 7, Earthbound. Great. Number 6, Animal Crossing Wild World. Excellent series, Animal Crossing. Number 5, Breath of the Wild. Number 4, Super Mario Galaxy. Number 3, Majora's Mask. Number 2, Smash Brothers 64. And number 1, Ocarina of Time. So, great stuff from Analysis for his top list. I'm so sorry, Analysis. You thought, when you think you know someone, you're like, Phil, I thought I knew you. I thought I knew you. I thought I knew what you were all about. But no, you fuck it all up. You fuck this shit all up, and you fucking pick Knights of the Old Republic. I can't help it though. It was my favorite gaming experience of my life. I don't know if it was the time period it was at. If I had to pick one singular game for Zelda, it would be Ocarina. But I wasn't rushed to finish Ocarina with the same intensity that I was for like a Zelda game. So for Knights of the Old Republic. So let me do this. Sad Zelda music. For Analysis of Thrones, I could at minimum play this, the top 10 saddest Zelda songs. Hopefully this isn't a person telling me a list. This is just the songs. Yes, that song's very sad. I'm keep showing it just because I love watching the gameplay of it, and I was looking for some distracting music while I bring something else up. So sorry about that, Analysis. So that is my top 20. I said top 10, but ultimately it was a top 20 list, and I'd love to hear some of your top 10, top 5 video game lists or whatever. So let's get into this, and let's play. Let's play Jay's. I'm going to do the message, the let's try this again message, Jay. So let's listen to what Jay's top 10 video game list is. And if any of you guys want to get your lists in right now, now's the time. Email me privately at igotissuesman@gmail.com, or message me on Discord, or message me, throw it in the live chat, and just keep spamming it in the live chat till I say it in case I miss it. So sorry, everybody. Sorry, especially to Strawberry and Analysis, who seem to be the most hurt by my lack of Zelda being number 1. It's hard. It's hard. If you ask me tomorrow, Zelda might be number 1 tomorrow. It's seriously, I went back and forth several times on this. So let's listen to Jay's message about his top video game choices.
Okay, let me try this again. And Peter Baelish died. You should probably change this message by now. Jumping Flash is number 1. Tekken is number 2 because it's my favorite fighting franchise of all time. After that is Sonic the Hedgehog. That's because I really love the first one and really like the second two.
Second one's great.
The next one after that is Shinobi.
Oh, Shinobi's great. I just want to say one thing about Sonic. I agree. Sonic 2 and 3 are fucking unbelievably incredible. I like Sonic 1. It's classic, but Sonic 2 and 3 are next level fucking awesome.
Because there's other games with Shinobi, but the only one I'm talking about is whatever one was for the Sega Master System. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you have Double Dragon.
Yeah, Double Dragon.
Because, well, at a very young, when I really, really had trouble beating games. This was the first game where I discovered once you get to the last level, you can just do 40 drop kicks or a whole bunch of drop kicks, and you beat the game no matter what.
I also really love about Double Dragon is in the original arcade game, if you're fighting with somebody at the end, you fight your opponent. You have to like turn and fight them after you fought all the way through with somebody. You get to turn and fight. It's just an awesome feature of that. Double Dragon was one of those first games. I almost put it there instead of the Ninja Turtle arcade game because I fucking love the arcade version of Double Dragon. So fucking good.
Like, you could not die on the last level unless you were playing with somebody else, because for some reason in Double Dragon, you have to fight your brother.
Dude, that's awesome.
At the end, I don't understand why, but that was just a rule in the game when you played with two people. So that's my top 5. You can ignore my earlier message.
Dude, awesome top 5. Double Dragon's really great. I know what you're saying you don't like about that. I think that's an awesome aspect of the game because it comes out of nowhere the first time you're playing through. I remember beating that with my friend Monty, and me and him were like, we must have put like 20, 30, like I don't even know how many quarters we put in that fucking thing. We were hanging out, our moms were at a bar and they were drinking at the bar, and we just kept going up and asking for money and going back like one at a time. We'd go, run, ask your mom for quarters, and they just keep giving us like 20s, and like we just putting money after money in the fucking machine. Then it gets to the end part, we just look at each other like, fuck, we have to fight each other now? Fuck me. So I actually really like that aspect. I thought it was like a good one of the first shock endings in a video game, and I thought that really worked well. So great list, Jay. Analysis is still in shock. He's got a personal beef with Kotar for the rest of his life. I know Analysis is like, this was, and what's sad about all this is this kind of was Analysis' idea to push me to do this list too. Where yesterday or the other day he sent me a message on, make sure you do the video game top list. And he was pushing me to do this, and I ended up causing him his fucking death. I'm sorry, Analysis. I'm fucking sorry, buddy. There I am. Okay, I'm gonna switch it off. My favorite game of all time is actually Cyberball instead of Kotar. It's the football with robots. No, I mean, you have me feeling a little bad because of how close I was to putting Zelda as number 1. Like, it was very close. I think I was switching this back and forth 2 or 3 times last night before I put the list to bed. So, it's the matter of a eeny, meeny, miny, mo, essentially, that it landed on this, not the other. And Teemo, what would you have won from Teemo if it was Zelda? I just want to know. I generally think that if you keep pushing, he's going to go back and switch it. I'm close, Tom. I'm fucking close. I'm very close. Question, when are we going to do top 10 guilty pleasure shows? Oh, that's a good thought. It's a good thought. That seems like a winter show to me. That seems like a middle of the winter day kind of thing. So maybe sometime in December we'll do that. Phil, it's not too late. The stream has not officially ended yet. It's not too late to switch back, Phil. It's not too late. So we have a couple of other ones. This is from area code 739. Oh, no, area code 739. My favorite game of all time is Last of Us, followed by Halo, then Mario Brothers 3, then Legend of Zelda, the original, then I like Madden 95. A good list. Good list. Can't deny anything on that list. Good list, area code 739. And very completely different list than me. A lot of people I think would probably put something like The Last of Us as their favorite game of all time. I think the people that are way into that game are very high on that game. And I love it too. That's why I put it in my honorable mentions. It's just, I wouldn't put it as one of my favorite games or one of the best games for me personally, but I have no problems with that being on anyone's list. Certain games, like if someone put a game on a lab, I'd be like, that game's shit. That game's fucking shit. Don't play that fucking game. But, Last of Us is incredible. I think Phil has his fingers crossed analysis when he revealed number 1. Let me analyze frame by frame. Funny thing, Analysis was so sure he didn't even get a bet from you. Teemo thought it was Star Fox, which wasn't even in the top 20. Come on! Phil, if you start getting death threats, it's from Analysis. He literally bet his life on this. Echo says, my top 5 would be Bard's Tale, number 5, good game. Ultima, I don't think I played that. Railroad Tycoon, great game. Civilization, number 2. And Heroes of Might and Magic, which is one of Stephanie's favorite games, Heroes of Might and Magic, or Might and Magic. Oh my goodness. Kingdom Hearts, number 1 for Broke. So everybody, you know what I got to do though? I need to, in honor of analysis, and to Jay's other point about the Peter Baelish voice message. Oh, that's staying. I don't care if whatever's happened to Peter Baelish in the real life of the world. I'm not re-recording Walking David's message there until I get another one from the Walking David with another voice. And David's going to be on the podcast soon more often, so we can harass David to record with me a couple of alternates for that as well. But for now, that's sticking as is, regardless of the season or not. David did too good of a job on that one. So let me play a quick song in honor of. This just in? This is the sound from people in my reaction to my number 1 pick. No, boo. Whoa. I'm sorry. But this is coming from except we see one thing. We see I need to know where these sound effects are, because if I stall too much, it totally defeats the whole factor of it. I need to organize this shit better. And I was going to do except for this sound coming from Timo. Timo's very excited here. And then Timo all the way home. See, analysis. There's a way you could do this in a very. No, I don't want to talk to you how you could. Look at your contract carefully and try to go word for word what Timo wants. Anyways, I'm gonna play a quick song here, and this isn't to rub it in analysis. This is more just for Quixote and to make her happy because she loves hearing this song. So I'll be right back. I just have to run the other room again, check the puppy power, and get my drinks that I need to take for the super chat donations tonight. So sorry, everybody.
Grab your sword and shield. It's a stolen horse, it's real. It's Groundhog Day on a 3-day course. Final man starts to strafe. Keep this weapon. If you wanna be safe, run around like a stick in the mud. In the fairy rains, in the mouths of floods. It's funny how evil can push politeness. You can't fight. It's a time crisis.
Quixote's mad at me too. Everyone's mad at me. Analysis is like, you think you know a guy. You think you know a dude, and he goes and fucking doesn't pick Zelda for number 1 on his favorite video game list. What a dirty asshole. I know, I'm totally an asshole. I'm feeling bad here just because of how close I was to having Zelda as number 1. It makes me feel very, very sad. Timo is Timo and Analysis figuring out the arrangement of their bat. If this is your first time joining us, Timo and Analysis have an amazing battle going back, dealing with some Game of Thrones stuff. So what we're talking about here, just to let anyone who happens to be this far be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Analysis has to make a video about his favorite character now, saying the bad things about his favorite character, and post it on his channel, or post it somewhere, or post it on Timo's channel or somewhere. I'm not sure the specifics of the situation. So, an Analysis bet on what my number one would be, and I guess I fucked up the whole situation by pulling something different out of my ass, and some technical difficulties ensued. So, I feel very bad about it, but gotta be honest to my picks. So I looked around. I don't have any like good hard alcohol right now. I need to like get a bottle of something, but I do have beer. So I owe a drink to Craig and a drink to Timo. So I will pour this beer and then do a beer guzzle or something like that for my 2 drinks. And I hope that will do justice for that. I hope that will pay a debt. A debt is paid. I'm not mad, Phil. I love you even more. Might increase my patronage if I could stop at 25. Last I checked. Just for this, Timo's gonna do like a one-time increase for a month on the Patreon page. And by the way, Timo, I know it's been a little while since you've been here. I finally listened to you and a couple of other people, and I added this as a permanent thing up here for. So I don't even have to talk about it. I don't have to feel uncomfortable. It can just be there, and I can feel uncomfortable about it that way. So the bet was for a Sansa Sucks video. Yeah, Phil, shame on me for having an original opinion. No, and I'm sorry, and I know I'm taking any of the bashing in the chat with a tongue in cheek too. Feel free to bash away. I know it's all in good form. I know I'll get some comments on this list for some of this, but it's not from anyone who's in the chat room right now or anyone calling me out on that level. So lots of love to everyone in the chat, even for keep vilifying me, Analysis. I know that our love continues. We'll reconnect someday. You'll convince me I was wrong, and I'll do a retraction video or something. So here we go. God, that was pathetic. Okay, so Hannibal.
Take 5.
Thank you, Hannibal. Keep me drinking. Oh, shit.
Fuck you, bitch. You broke my heart. Fuck your friends. Tearing us apart. Fuck your dog. Hope it never comes home. Fuck your bitch. Hope you wind up alone. Fuck you, bitch. You broke my heart.
This is a song dedicated from Analysis to me.
You're tearing us apart. Fuck your dog. Hope it never comes home.
That's a little harsh, Analysis.
Hope you wind up alone.
Lots of love to Hannibal up there. Thank you so much for your fucking songs you send me, buddy. Love it, and thank you for your patronage as well. You're the fucking best. And yeah, that's a song dedicated to me from Analysis. So, I knew... Phil, I thought I knew you. I'm questioning everything now. Is your name even Phil? What the fuck? I'm just snorting. I'm sorry. Chomp, 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 chomp. PacMan's chomping my head. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 1,000 times sorry. Okay, so everybody, if you are tuning in here for the top video game list, I'm pretty much done at that point. I'll be wrapping things up pretty soon here. So everyone, thank you that has joined here. It's just probably just be silly hijinks for the next few minutes or so before I wrap up. Some silly babblery, and I just guzzled a beer, so I'm like, woo! It's time to play the drums. You know, it's like time to play the drums or something like that. So if you're tuning in just for the video game list, we're done. I can kind of re-go over my list just do one more time. Number 20 was Pokemon series. Number 19, Jungle Hunt. Number 18, the OG original Star Wars arcade game. Number 17, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. Number 16, Miss PacMan. Number 15, Mass Effect. Number 14, the DK series. Number 13, Food Fight. Number 12, Tecmo Bowl. Number 11, Contra. Number 10, top 10, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Number 9, King's Quest, Space Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, the Sierra series. Number 8, Populous. That made me happy. Number 7, Baseball Stars. Number 6, the Smash Brothers series. Number 5, the Mario series. Number 4, the Arkham series. Number 3, Fire Emblem series. Number 2, the Legend of Zelda series. And number 1, the Knights of the Old Republic Part 1. And dude, I love you. Phil is amazing. Phil, do the right thing on this list recap. Oh yeah, give it to us again and again and again. I can listen to this shit all day, says Timo. See, I love when I make Timo happy. And I love when I make analysis happy. I love all of you guys. I'm slightly buzzed from that beer there. And I believe I have one more drink. I had 2 super chat donations and they both landed on drink today. Fuck. Awful. So that is our top list. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not done yet, but I'm done with the list. But this is the end of our list. Everybody, thank you so much. We talk some Pac-Man. Woohoo! Yeah, so everyone, if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, yada yada yada. Talk to you guys next time. Bye. Okay, that's just in case I want to cut this end part off at the end somehow, if I want to like snip the hair off the end of this thing. Most likely I won't. Most likely anyone that made this far in this video will watch past this point. But thank you if you have made it this far. I appreciate it. And I also just want to say, just in general, I really do appreciate you guys allowing me to talk about other things rather than television and tuning on in, having some fun in the chat room, getting passionate about things as well, making side bets. I love that shit. And to Timo and Craig and Hannibal, and to Analysis, and to all of our patron supporters and all the people that donate on Super Chat. You guys keep us fucking going. So thank you to all of you guys. I hope you are enjoying these kind of things. And if you have specific ones, you guys get first choice. If any of you guys that are patrons or make the suggestions have specific things you want me to talk about, if Analysis now to pay you back, you want me to do like a 10 reasons why Zelda's better than Kotar or something, you tell me privately and I'll put out videos like that. You guys are the ones that keep me going. So I love this. I love patron on patron crime going on right now with Timo and Analysis. It's amazing stuff. And thank you guys for being seriously the best group of viewers, friends, whatever, anywhere, any place. You guys are amazing. So yeah. So more stuff like I did this with the music shit, and could be some Star Trek stuff. So I know some people will be out on that, but could also be talking about some new shows and keep video game specific. I tried to say specific video game topics and stuff like that, and other things like that. So other music topics like best guitar players, shit like that. Keep it coming. If anyone has any suggestions, always private message me, and you can send inappropriate pictures of people giving me the middle finger if you want to. I like that. So, Analysis, feel free to to cut me out and put me in some awful situations. Toby, welcome to the channel, Toby. Thank you for the sub. I guess Toby just listened to me. But Analysis, once you can get a visual of me, should I stand in front of my green screen for you to make it easy so you can put me in like a really awful positions with Photoshop me in some awful situations, like in a gorilla's ass or something like that. Like anything you want to do right now, you can take some back, Analysis. Excuse me. Actually, Brendan, Deep Space Nine will be the next thing I'm going to review Star Trek oriented. I'm going to do a video on why it's going to be a podcast like this, and the topic is going to be why Garrick is so awesome. I don't know if that's going to be the title of the video. It would be why Garrick is one of the best television characters of all time. So the whole video is just going to be about different. It's going to be kind of a Garrick biography and talking about why I like him. And then they have another Deep Space Nine video coming out after that about Odo and Quark's relationship I want to do, and then maybe get into some more episode recaps of Deep Space Nine episodes and shit like that. So got a couple of those are probably the next 2 Star Trek things are going to be Deep Space Nine related, not Discovery or Orville. I'm going to talk about, I haven't watched the new episode of Orville yet, just because my DVR got cut off by football, but I am going to watch it before Friday, and I'm going to talk about it on Friday's cast, and also do some previews, watch the Punisher trailer, and maybe some other stuff. But for actual classic Trek, I'm going to do a couple of Deep Space Nine stuff, which isn't going to be for everybody because not everyone watches Deep Space Nine, and I get it, but stuff like that, hopefully I can, the people that do love Garrick or love Deep Space Nine will enjoy that. Hopefully we'll enjoy that video and that discussion. So that'll be the next Star Trek-y thing I do besides the Discovery thing this coming Sunday with Joe. If you want to show some, thank you, Analysis. You're amazing. Top 10 reasons why Analysis must make the Sansa video. Top 10 directors, movies, Scorsese. Arthur, that's one that will absolutely happen. Top 10 directors. If you can private message me that, igotissuesman@gmail.com. That'd be great. I also need at some point this season of South Park to do a South Park video for one of our Super Chat donators that landed on request a video. So that is a must. I'm going to do it probably on like all South Park history kind of thing. And because it's basically more of what he wanted to hear me talk about, like my opinion of South Park history. It's tough because it's still going, but I will be doing maybe an episode recap or an episode commentary, watching live commentary, and then afterwards discuss that. Might be patron only this month's content, and then send the link to the person who requested it. Just because it might be a little just babbly, blah 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 blah. Me sitting on a couch talking about some shit, but. We'll see about that. But that's coming up soon too. So a lot of good stuff coming up in the next week. I'm buzzed. I had that one drink. It's awful. It's not the whole beer. I still have this part left. I have to finish at some point. Stephanie will come home at 5 and be like, "What's wrong?" Hey. I did a podcast. Made some money. Making some money. That's all she cares about. She's like, "Oh, you did a podcast today? Would you make anything in Super Chat?" That's all she cares about. She's like, she doesn't care how the podcast was. She's like, you can whore yourself out for money, but you got to actually make the money. Gotham returns this week. I have to catch up on Gotham itself. I'm a whole season behind, but eventually we will catch up. Stephanie and I will do some. She loves that show, and I watch it because of her, and I enjoy it. And it's good and it's bad. 10 hottest chick in all cinema. Love Deep Space Nine. Long live Nogs. Looking forward to the payback video. This live stream deserves an increase on patronage just in case Analysis is dead next month. Danny saw him having his baby. Analysis is dead once this stream ends. I've heard good things about this most recent episode of Orville. I'm pretty excited to watch it. I was really pissed when my DVR blocked it out. Football went too long. I wish they could figure out a way to handle that. Just start the show and like send out the TV magic waves to not have shows on DVRs get half cut off because half it's the end of the football game. The chance of Phil telling this was all a joke is my life support. There you go. That's the second drink. Thank you, Super Chatters. You were awesome today. You help out, like I said, when I say the things like more than you know, I mean in my private discussions with Stephanie. You guys help out more than you know. The patron stuff totally helps out more than you know. That's why I try to give you guys that extra content there and the extra stuff that's just for you specifically. Like the extra Joe drunk stuff, or the little interview, or a little Vikings discussion with King McKay, or whatever. And I try to keep up that stuff. Gonna probably there's something with The Walking David we-released. When David and I get into our Curb reviews, we're gonna get back to that. So I'm gonna try to get you that sort of stuff, even if it's a 30-second clip here, 30-second clip there. I want to make it worth your while for the support you guys give us, because I feel like sometimes I should be hugging you guys for just watching and taking part in this, because I do this whether you guys are watching or not. I do this a lot. In fact, I did this for a few years totally alone. There's a secondary YouTube channel called Issues Radio Program where there's like, I want to say it's like 30 podcasts that I did, or like even more or something like that, which is just me alone with like 2 people watching the video on replay. No one's even watching live. So it means so much to me that you guys are here and you guys check this out and you guys engage in this stuff. And yeah, lots of love to all of you. And so I guess I should start to wrap things up. I guess I should call this a live stream. No one likes a hanger-oner, and I'm still hanging on. I'm hanging on for dear life because I love you guys too fucking much. Ooh, I've got some private messages here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Sweet. I can say I'm going to be on a Game of Thrones discussion on another channel pretty soon. I don't want to say what the video is, but someone just sent me a message that said, awesome, I will be there. So great. Cool. And also I mentioned, for anyone that's curious about that, our next Game of Thrones content will be the Cersei character recap. And I've been kind of researching that. Basically what we're going to go through is just the bullet points of her story from season 1 to season 7, and then taking calls, comments, questions, all about Cersei. And that's how these programs are going to work. They're going to be, the basic podcasts we do, these kind of live streams and about specific characters. And I want to hopefully get a couple voicemails or one voicemail from Broke to tell us why she's his favorite character. I also talked to a couple of other Game of Thrones YouTube people that I had so much fun bringing some people in for the feedback shows. A couple people that I haven't had on yet. Some other channels I've been in discussion with about having them on for specific characters. Might have a guest on for the Jon Snow episode. Someone I've been talking to, someone that had me on one of their videos at the beginning of this season that I want to bring onto the channel. And he has agreed to it and said he'd be up for it anytime. So I'm going to have him on, probably doing the Jon Snow one. Maybe before that, I don't know yet. I have to figure out the arrangements of that. Hopefully we'll have some other guests. And of course, The Walking Dead is coming very, very soon. And then Vikings. So lots of stuff to look forward on the channel. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It means so much to us. Much love to all of you guys. And let's jump to the live chat and say goodbye to everybody. Lots of love to Analysis, Arthur, Brendan, Cheekiest, Ian, Critch, Lady Warrior, Fuck Phil the Issues Guy, Quixote being a ninja in there, Timo, and Tom himself. Timo, I'm glad you're feeling better, and I hope this kind of helps you feel a little bit better. General chat is yelling at me here. I'm jumping in the general chat. I got a lot of angry people right here. Angry people. Angry people about this Zelda. Why aren't you picking Zelda? Why isn't Zelda number 1? I'm going to get back with back construction, still try to map that out with Walking Dead. But we might be too negative. Hey, I can fake being positive with the best. I'm always welcome to have people on in here, but anytime someone wants to have me in their house, I'll respect their rules. I know if people want to have me over, I know how to not say motherfucker every word. I can say M and F in chat. I know how to do that. I know how to say bloody instead of fuck. No shit. That's bloody marvelous or frickin', or say poop. I did public radio and I work with kids. So I'm welcome to be a positive force. You know what I really like about that? It's awesome. Phantasy Star 4. I did say Phantasy Star 4. I actually included Phantasy Star 4 mixed in there. I love Phantasy Star. Hey, why am I not in the participants? You weren't in the participants? Fuck that. Broke. I love you, Broke. Broke's in there. Broke's the best. And also, I keep mentioning this, but it's going to happen. Is Johnny still in there? Johnny, are you listening to me? Johnny, I asked you before. Let me know. What days are good for you? I want to have a live stream coming up. It's going to be coming up very soon, an FOP stream and just a friend stream that we're going to have. The whole stream's going to start out with myself and Broken Johnny, and we're going to kind of do some feedback questions, maybe some quick Season 8 prediction type stuff, just random discussions that we're going to have, just babble fest, you know, nothing specific. And then about an hour into it, what I'm going to do is share the link to get into the live chat in the Discord group, and then any of our friends on Discord that want to jump on in. My only rule, if you want to jump on into this, is please wear headphones. That's it. I don't care if you have the shittiest microphone in the world. I don't care if your microphone's your 19,000-year-old laptop. As long as you have headphones. That's my only rule. So I'll share the link in the Discord group, and any of our Discord friends that want to jump on in can jump on in. It might be in an odd time because we're gonna do it at we're gonna be Johnny friendly, and he's sort of in a way different time zone, but we'll try to do it at a time that will be somewhat easier for people to pop in, or maybe even just pop in for a second, and then just do a kind of silly stream. Maybe ask some silly trivia questions. Maybe just have a goofy time. Take your questions in the chat for the people that can't join us. So that's also coming up sometime soon. I wanted to do it in September, but I have to figure out with Johnny, because I think Broke's pretty much available whenever, and it's about figuring out Johnny with his time schedule stuff. So that will be coming up very soon. Is Johnny streaming right now? Okay. So I think probably around this time is the best time for Johnny. So we'll pick a day that he's not streaming, that he doesn't have something planned, and that Broke doesn't have class or something like that, so we can figure it out. Because I'm definitely looking forward to talking to those two guys and bringing in any of you guys in the Discord group that wants to pop on into the video chat here. So that's happening, motherfuckers. Omen's like, what was number one if not fucking Zelda? Please, and if you want to make sure you can get in on that and you haven't already, sign up on the Discord group, and then you'll get alerts on your phone or in the app, wherever you have the Discord group logged in on. Because I'll tag, hey everybody, I'll do that as an everybody tag, and we can have up to 10 people in there at once, and maybe we'll shuffle some people in and out if we have more people that are interested. If no one's interested, Johnny and Broke and I can just talk for 2 hours. I don't think that's a problem. So Zelda was number 2. The Zelda series was number 2. I kind of want to be on there for the Janie defense stream if I can get over being stars. Oh, Timo, you're so sweet. I'm starstruck by Timo. I was so worried back in the second to last episode of the year that you were going to be like, fuck you, assholes. I was like, I'm so sad. I want to get Timo upset. She's so awesome. But no, I love how every one of these things, it started from I was going to do a Jamie defense stream, but I'm like, I want to just do a character recap of every character. So the Jamie recap is going to be very much the Jamie defense stream. You guys are amazing. Kotar was great. I kind of want to be get Johnny in Secrets of Citadel too. Oh, that would be a cool combination. I love Secrets of Citadel. She's very, very fucking sweet. And her and Kyle have both invited me at different times to join them in the future. So hopefully I'll be able to do that whenever they invite me next time. I would love to jump on and join Kyle or Gemma there for one of her streams. So yeah, Secrets of Citadel, awesome stuff. And be lucky to have her on here and be on there. Like I said, big channels like that and like, you know, all those other big YouTube people, they're the ones or the people that are focused on topics and are killing it and getting subscribers and pushing it. Like that's the way that we get bigger, is by them having me on their channel. Like, I'll always have them on here and that's all good. They'll bring people too. But the real way to get, you know, for us to get more of them is for those channels. And I'm inviting myself, hey guys, have me on. But that's the best way, because then it's all of their subscribers see me, and then the people that would like me, the 5%, the 10%, the whatever, the 2 people of the 100,000 subscribers these people have like me will jump on over. I mean, ultimately, with Carmine and with Devin, those were the biggest things that mattered for me, is like when I was on their channels, that brought in the most people. So So I think if you're out there, you have a big YouTube channel, if you like what we do and want to support us, invite me on. There you go. I said it. Invite my ass on, and it really could help the channel grow. So if you're a huge channel that likes me, talk about me, promote me. Because that's the best way I can grow. Not that I'm lazy and I'm not doing stuff myself. We say motherfucker every word. We're goofy. We don't have central topics. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I give a shit about being real and babbling to you. And there are some people that do enjoy us that are, bigger. And we've been lucky, like I said, with people like Devin and Red and Carmine that have like pushed us out there so much. It's like they can only do so much, and I can only do so much, and you guys in the chat can do so much. So anyone else out there that supports us and loves us, I'm always available. 1-900-CALL-PHIL. There we go. See, I'm selling myself. I've got a couple messages. You don't sell yourself enough, asshole. There, you see me doing it? I'll do it. I'll do your podcast. But yeah, those big channels really are the secret to us getting more people in the army and getting some of those people over here. I've reached out to a couple really big YouTube channels to try to get them for interviews. We'll see how that works out. So yeah, keep pounding that stuff. Keep tweeting big personalities. You have a huge YouTube channel or huge podcaster you'd love to see me on their podcast with them. Fucking tweet at them. Tell them, get Phil the Issues Guy on your fucking show. And if enough of you guys do that, the sheer force of will that we have with the FOPs, with all you guys and all the energy you guys have, that's the stuff that's going to push the needle. So you guys fucking harass people. If people know that people want people, that's how people get people. Yeah. So thank you to everyone that has been doing that stuff and continues to do that stuff. So enough of that shit, motherfucker. Enough of that fucking shit, motherfucker. Phil, you want to join me on my channel about why Zelda's #1 video game of all time? The Dolan Twins presents Phil the Issues Guy. I literally have a Jamie defense that just grows over the years. Jeremy defense, at least he didn't rape his daughter. Collaboration. It is fun. Collaboration. Here we come. You may consider Smokescreen. They're funny too. I've had Smokescreen on this channel. Like, in the preseason on the stream that was promised, Smokescreen was on. And I definitely think he'd be on again. I would love to be on his channel anytime. If he ever invited me, I would be like, yeah, I'll be on. But I absolutely love. But you don't invite yourself on someone else's channel. It's a little weird. You just expect that, you hope that when you have someone on, they had a good time, that they, extend the invitation back to you. And he's an awesome dude. And I have nothing bad to say about him. But it's like, he probably doesn't even think about me. So that's what I'm saying. If someone that's a fan of both of ours goes, hey, dude, he's going to go, oh, yeah, I had a good time on Phil's channel. Want to invite him on sometime, So that's why it's important that other people, and it doesn't come necessarily from me, because I can ask them on my channel, but it's awkward and presumptuous to be like, hey, you want to, because I'm not inviting people on here because I want to be on there. I'm inviting because I want to talk to them. And it needs to really be their choice. But if they know their fans or the people that watch them want to see stuff, they're more likely to move the needle. That's why people and the viewers can push that more than I can. Because coming from me, it's just, hey. But yeah, I'd love to do more stuff with Smoke. I definitely had a good time talking with him and his buddy there on the stream that was promised stuff. So I think everyone who's doing live streams lately needs to go through Phil's crash course on how to include the chat without making them pay for it. I will only speak chat words of those who super chat donate. Other than that, I'm ignoring you. Fuck you. But a lot of people that do that, Timo, and I'm not mentioning like I just mean specifically, there's some people that are good at live streaming, good at pre-recorded videos, good at everything. Some people are just live streaming because they're trying to get view time up and trying to get more, like, it's algorithm YouTube bullshit stuff. So they're streaming because it's easy and they don't have to put a lot of production value into the video. So they're streaming literally and they're like, oh shit, I made fucking X amount of money streaming the other night because I have 1,000 subscribers, so I'll stream again, even if they don't really love it. Like some people love it. Like, I love live. Like, they need it. I need the live. It's like what keeps my pulse going. The nervousness. If I fuck up, everyone's watching. That sort of feeling inspires me, gets my body like amped up. Some people are great talent, have so much more talent than me or whatever, and huge channels that hate live streaming. You can see they hate that they're doing it, but they're doing it because live streaming's the thing now. You know, and those channels exist, and those are the ones you're talking about, where they're like, they only read super chat comments, they only do stuff. It definitely exists, you know, and I'm not talking about any specific portion, but it's more the bigger the channel, the less they care about that stuff. And I mean, I'll promise you guys, no matter what, no matter if we get big, if we get small, I'll always give a shit about what you guys say. You know, if we never grow an ounce bigger than this, I'm satisfied and I'm happy I have this relationship with you guys and get to talk to you guys on this level. I do. Because to me, it's a friendship. And like when I was hosting a radio show, when I'm hosting a television show and public access, whatever, to me, it's more about the connection I can have with you guys and being able to talk to you guys and let you share in my insanity. Because if I can't talk like this with anybody else, you guys get, I've said this before, you guys get the most real me. Because you get all of me. You get me sad, you get me drunk, you get me high, you get me whatever. Like, it's one of those things that before I do it, like, I anticipate it, but when I come out here, it's, you know? So, I do appreciate it, and it's this interaction I have with you guys that has grown in me and makes me love doing this more than anything else. And that's why those of you who choose to donate, those of you who choose to become patrons, those of you who choose to give us fucking crazy amounts of super chat stuff, all of that, maybe I should be more, maybe I could get quicker to the point where I want to get, which is to do this full time, be a full-time podcaster, be a full-time broadcaster of some sort. Maybe if I was a little bit more, hey everybody, you want to get your question in? Like ignoring the chat. I'm not looking at the chat. Imagine if I did a podcast like that. Like, could you even watch that? Like, if I was doing a show where I ignored the chat, didn't look at it, but only read the super chat donations. Like, could I, like, if I did stuff like that, it would probably encourage people to donate more, right? Wouldn't it? Like, maybe, like, I'm never going to do that, but I get it, I guess. It just comes off to me as a little false, you know? A little, oh, yeah, thank you for your donation. But that's just me. I'm not bashing anyone specific. I'm just saying I definitely have seen that in channels I watch, like bigger channels I'm into. They're like, oh, we're live streaming because we're can live stream now. And, you know, people watch time matters for an algorithm. And yeah, and okay. How are you feeling tonight? Good. So let's read some comments. Super chat donation. Blah. Hey, Felicia, great to see you. Uncle Phil, we love you. Like, fuck, at least Phil has a wheel, so it isn't just interruption after interruptions with no fucking shots. And, I mean, that's the other thing, too, with the wheel. I don't always pay full attention to the wheel, and I don't always abide by it. I've had a couple people go, why do you even do the wheel? You don't even fucking listen to the wheel. But I think it's fun. I think it adds a little extra element, a little extra give back, you know, to you guys to kind of give you something for what you do, even if it's just me going, and then I punched in the face and kicked her in the balls and stick it in the balls and you know, singing or doing something goofy. I appreciate that I can at least give something goofiness back to you. So thank you. I know the end of this show is turning into an infomercial for Phil the Issues Guy, but it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Lady Warrior. Share that out there. Tell everybody. Because it's like dogs. You know, everyone thinks that they have the best live streams. But you know that because of the motherfucking chat, we have the best. It's not because of me. Pfft. I'm a fucking stupid asshole up here just yelling and shaking my head and shaking my boobs. It's about you guys in the live motherfucking chat. Felicia, wake up. No, good morning. Phil's too good to bug you about joining Patreon. I have no shame. It's possible. Show this man some support. Exactly, but who the fuck does that? What's the point of me watching if I gotta pay for attention? What the fuck is a live point? And that's the thing. I think when you're doing a live show, if you're live streaming, like especially if you're podcast live streaming, video games, different story altogether. Different kinds of live streams, vlogging, different story altogether. We're talking about you're doing a podcast. The goal, for me anyways, is replicating what talk radio does well. And what talk radio does well is including callers, letting callers set the scene of the motivation and letting people, whether it be the chat. And that was my whole motivation behind all of that. Like, if you listen to the very early issues programs, we didn't have a live chat. You know, on the radio show we did at a certain point in time because people were listening live. But then there was this whole period where I did pre-recorded podcasts, essentially. And I don't like that. I like the living feeling of it. So I can be an asshole, say something stupid, say something everyone disagrees with, and then see it. And then answer to it right away. You know, like there's no holding back. There's no fucking, there's no fucking chance I can have to like fake it. You know what I mean? And that's what's best for me. It's not best for everybody. And I'm not saying everyone has to do what I do. But it's like when some people live stream, of course, like in a podcasting standpoint, it's not just an extension to do a long video for yourself. It's also a way of connecting with the people that are listening to you in an audience. It becomes difficult when you have a bigger channel and the live chat's just going zip, 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 and it's like, fuck your ass, fuck your butt, and you're getting that YouTube spam and shit. But there's other ways to arrange that, like create a Discord group, get a secondary chat room that like say Rob Nino does with Rob as a podcast, where he does things live on YouTube or live on Facebook, but he has his own dedicated chat room that he has embedded into the website. So he only gets the people that are really dedicated to what he wants and can get them into the conversation. Like if we were ever lucky enough to be a really huge channel and the live chat was just, I would just take questions from Discord. And then the people that came into Discord would be the motherfucking chat, and I'd occasionally go to the motherfucking chat. But, and I understand there are some channels like that are so huge that have like 1 million subscribers and shit, and they do live streams. It's just insane. But I do think there's a fine line between what you should whore yourself out for and what you and what you shouldn't. Anyways, I'm just babbling. I'm just a babble fest situation. It just needs I just think the calls and the texts make part of the show. I couldn't come up with the stuff if it wasn't for what you guys send us in. 6 out of 10 Joe rants start from Jay calling him out, or we had Emily a couple of years ago, or Big J, or any of our callers. I don't want to devalue anybody else. Bloody Talker, Bill calls in sometimes. Random person number 3. Like all of our callers that we have bring something special to the show. And it's not something I could ever bring, and it's like, and I think the same way about the live chat. You're doing yourself a disservice as a broadcaster by not bringing in people's conversations, even the understanding, because it comes off as, again, you're prostituting yourself a little bit. And especially when you're bigger and you don't need the money in that context as much, you're like, oh, super chat works, super chat. I don't know. I just think it comes off stupid. But that being said, please donate on Super Chat. Get me drunker. I secretly loved when Joe was like telling people to outbid each other. I'm like, Joe, shut up. Shh, keep doing it. So I'm the same way. I just try to not make it matter either way when it really comes down to it. Maybe give a little extra content to people that pay, but like never give extra access to people that pay, because it seems a little false in this medium. I don't know. That's me. Maybe I'll feel differently if I had a business manager that was like, oh, you're going to make a living here. Oh, Phil, you need to make some money. You need to do money. That's what you got to do. But no, there's ways to do it and be me. There's ways to say, everybody, don't, shop on Amazon. Do that shit for me, please. Super chat. We'll have some fun. I'll get goofy. There's ways to do it classy and there's ways not to. I'm not saying I do it classy. I'm fucking thinking about stripping for you if you donate or something. But anyways, I'm babbling. If caller 11111 ever says something, the world would end. Sarah's question, does watching with YouTube Red help you more with YouTube ads? I'd say the YouTube Red stuff I don't see much of a difference other than it just all ends up evening out in the end. It's around the same as what you used to get for advertising dollars as a whole. But the advertising, since the advertising apocalypse, and obviously we're a fuck station, so we don't get as much advertising as we could. And some of our videos, are, high, low, whatever, we have different means of views and stuff like that. So most of whatever, and I know people don't necessarily like hearing about this shit, but most, if any, comes from, super chat or direct donations and stuff. YouTube Red and or YouTube advertising costs is next to nothing. You'd be surprised how little it is. And realistically, to even some of the bigger videos that people have, it's like, you're like, oh, if they actually told you how much they made lifetime on something, you'd be like, really? That little for that video or something? So it's that's why so many more people are doing live chats and super chats and stuff, like, because because that's the way that they're making their nut, so to speak. So I get it. We can't have you stripped now you're married. Stephanie's given permission as long as money's involved. Like, my pre-mentioned statement, I don't care as much about that, but Stephanie does. And Stephanie says, time, money, investment. You got to be making as much as a part-time job doing this, or you got to stop. So she's sort of that force in my life pushing me on that, because she sees how much energy and time and effort I put into doing these things. So she's like, you got to make money. So I have her in my ear doing that to be like, set up the Amazon link, set it up, do it, promote it every show. My husband does think I have a crush on Phil and Johnny because I watch them so much. How can you not have a crush on Johnny? That accent, he's so beautiful. I mean, I have a crush on Johnny. Holy shit. If you had a solid sub foundation for those live streams, you would have mods that can handle that and take care of that shit. Boss Steph. Steph is okay with hoarding yourself. Yes, of course, as long as I'm getting paid. As long as I'm contributing to the family and paying my monthly bills, that's all she cares about. As long as I'm paying the internet, paying the phone bill, paying the cable, paying paying my share of the fucking mortgage, as long as I'm doing all that, you can podcast all your little heart desires. So everybody, I guess now is as good a time as any. I've talked the video games. I've talked the talk. This last bit, I do, again, thank all of you for humoring me and listening to me on all of this stuff. I know in some level I'm preaching to the choir or preaching to the converted already. I'm preaching to people that do support us. So it's tough. I don't want to hey, you guys that support us, anyone that helps us out or helps us out even once, I appreciate it. I just have to talk about it more. So I'm going to be talking about it a little bit more and trying to feel less awkward doing it. So everybody, thank you so much for your support. Felicia has a boyfriend also named Johnny. Don't be Sansa confused. Yeah, Phil, I watch Phil and Johnny the most, no matter what time of day, and who cares what people say. Phil, do a Link striptease. Trust me, if I started to striptease, any crushes you guys have on me would disappear. I look much better in clothes. Anyways. You guys are incredible. I'm surrounded by Johnnies. I love all of you, and I do appreciate you listening and being there and being so supportive as you want. Being so supportive as you want. Being as supportive as you are is what I meant to say there somehow. Oh, Timo upped her patronage from $25 to $30. Thank you, Timo. She wasn't lying just because of this situation. Just because of the bet with analysis. You don't have to keep that full time. You can change it next month, Timo. Thank you so much. How do I sign up for the Discord chat? If you're looking for a way to sign up in the Discord chat and keep the discussion going with some of the people you see in the chat right now, just keep it going. You can find the link in the description box below, or some of the mods in the live chat right now will be popping on in the link on to get to the Discord. Basically, sign on in there. You create an account. You can download it on your phone. It's a phone app. It's also a desktop app. Either way, it's just a big discussion train. So keep it going. Keep the discussion moving. Quixote's deleting the stream from memory because the Zelda stuff. She never wants to hear this. Never wants to hear that this stream ever existed. Never. Okay, I'm just gonna go on talking forever. So I might as well go. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Join us every week for crazy random discussions. Sometimes it's me with a friend, sometimes it's me with some other YouTube people. You guys are fucking incredible for all the support you give us. But really, it can be about a lot of things, But really, this show is about you guys right here in the live motherfucking chat. Look at you. Look how beautiful you look. Look at the fucking... Timo might even make some lemon cakes tonight. Quixote's still upset that Zelda's not number 1. She's sad. She's emotionally affected by this stuff. Join Discord. You won't regret it. Here we go. Much love to everybody. Thank you so much, everyone in the live motherfucking chat. I will talk to you guys next time. I'm sorry to all Zelda fans. Zelda's number 2. Give me a break. Give me a break. I love Zelda. It's amazing. It's my favorite game series. It's my favorite game series. Don't be sad, everybody. Lots more Zelda coming. Zelda might change. Who knows? The next game might change me. And one time for our lovely friend, even though it has no relevance here, in honor of analysis in his video he needs to create.
It's Timo's Red of the Night. It's Timo's Red of the Night. Fuck Sansa. Fuck Sansa. Fuck Sansa. Fuck Sansa. It's Timo's Red of the Night. 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 It's the Red of the Night. Ramsey, Snow.
Oh, Quixote! I broke Quixote in an hour. I broke my fairy's hearts. I broke my 2 babies' hearts. I'm sorry, Analysis and Quixote. Love me, please love me. You and your Zelda support means so much. Zelda's my second favorite franchise of all time. It's so fucking good. Don't hate me. Don't love me. Just love me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Have a great night, everyone. Talk to you next time.
Lost, I'm off and brought to the post edge back at the top. See you there when the bruise is clear. I'm clearly better when I'm dropped. Born through rain, I'm man's down lost. Sink on the bum like an old man mother. Wants the iron to get away. Say I'll flip you when you let go again. The words cover, mean to side. Don't bless each other. Get a life is the best I see. Don't wanna live to what is me.
Second favorite.
My inside mental applause. All I do, hold some rare. Ask me some left, I go when I care. All that's great, but it's not the truth. The only truth is talking to you. Your very existence bothers me. You make me feel like a pile of eggs. You took away something I love, the one thing that makes me happy to held my head. You pissed off the wrong person. I just wanna make you suffer for this. Yeah, payback's a bitch a little bit. Don't want to die till the end. I'm going to my soul in. Check the dump with me with a bounce. You go first side. I'm a bitch. I'm a projectile. So I close my mouth, I hold my heart. I'm standing on sand, my legs spread apart. Care about the vine that is your line that used to be mine, so I dragged it down the line.